Johnson all out there. Captains.
Yeah.
El Capitan.
Yeah. Yeah.
I heard myself breathe.
You got it? Okay, hold on. Let's give you some audio.
I can hear you.
Oh, you can? Okay.
Tell me, can you hear us? I can hear that.
Yeah, I can hear that a lot.
Can you hear me?
There's a lot of reverb on it, but I can hear you.
Okay, I'm gonna do a test. 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8, 9, 10. Okay. Testing 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8. You there? Uh-huh.
Yeah.
It might be picked up by another microphone. Hold on one second. Okay. How does it sound now? Testing 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6. Door shut. Okay. Now, why would that be? That's what I was saying. Still fire alarm a few times in all the boots. Yes. Yes. Testing, testing. Superstar? Like you weren't gonna figure that out after the first game? Yeah.
Wait, who's this hashtag, Michael?
He was out for the first game and he still had more yards than everybody.
Bro.
Isaiah.
But dude, that oh, you know that first game, he got like subbed in like in the third quarter there. I saw him, he had like a black cast on. He was like, I got a black cast.
Yeah, the club.
I was like,
Yeah, the club, bro.
dude.
I saw him hand himself the ball to that hand.
Yeah.
Cast on.
He did.
Yeah. Dude, that man's a beast.
He's not like those. Not like this, but
Really?
yeah, see me out on the course, you don't know how he's dying. Hey, I'm not.
Do you like Isaiah till you wear your shirt all tucked
Hey,
up?
I'm getting fairly close. Meaning
If we do like some body paint,
the body paint.
bodybuilders. If you want to try and send it, we can stop the stream again. Send it from the board, from the unbalanced main out through the quarter inch to the Black Magic device and do that audio. Yeah. Yeah, it's 10.
We're too ready. Like they say on it. 75, 74, 73, 72, 71, 70, 69, 68, 67, 66, 65, 64.
Keep talking.
Keep talking? Okay.
I don't care.
65, 64, 63, 62, 61, 60, 59, 58, 57, 56, 55, 54, 53, 52, 51, 50, 49, 48, 47, 46, 45, 44, 43, 42, 41, 40, 39, 38, 37, 36, 35, 34, 33, 32, 31, 30, 29, 28, 27, 26, 25, 24, 23, 22, 21, 20, 19, 18, 17, 16, 15, 14, 13, 12, 11, 10, 9, 8, 7, 6, 5, 4, 3, 2, 1, 0. Moorpark Raiders at the Ventura Pirates. There's a pirate ship out at sea. Going back on to mic 2. This is microphone 2. Mic check. 99, 98, 97, 96, 95, 94, 93, 92, 91, 90, 89, 88, 87, 86, 85, 84, 83, 82, 81, 80, 79, 78, 77, 76, 75, 74, 73, 72, 71, 70, 69, 68, 67, 66, 65, 64, 63, 62, 61, 60, 59, 58, 57, 56, 55, 54, 53, 52, 51, 50, 49, 48, 47, 46, 45, 44. Whoa, it turned up a little bit. 43. Okay.
Okay, can you say 1 really quick?
1.
Go ahead, yeah.
1.
Okay, it gives me about 4 dBs, or negative 4. Go ahead and say 1 again.
1.
One more time.
1.
No, I'm not getting anything. It sounds really light going into the camera. I'm not seeing anything anymore. Go ahead and say it one more time.
1. 1. 1.
Now I'm not getting anything on the.
Nothing.
I'm getting nothing on flash, but I'm getting it on the camera. Yes. Yes. It won't like.
Can you hear me, Bree?
Yeah, we're supposed
No.
to put a preview, input video, output video, audio. No. just say something once, it's not going to pick it up, but if you start talking, then it's going to start bouncing. Okay, but I'm saying when you ask that question based on where the where it's going to go, or if it's bouncing the second time, if it bounces the second time, I don't see it because I think it's lagging on my screen. No. Audio's fine now?
Check 1 2 3 1 2 3. This is mic number 2.
Okay, we're going to jump on then. Okay, bye, thank you.
Are we good?
As far as I know.
Which seat do you want to sit in? What do you have better view? All right.
Well, ladies and gentlemen, and welcome to our broadcast. We had a little bit of trouble getting our stream online. Nonetheless, we're here sitting in the Ventura press box. That's number 7, Jake Luton taking the snap back, looking downfield. He's rolling out to the near sideline. He's going to hit number 22. That's his number 1 receiver, Isaiah Brown, with a gain of what looks to be about 6 on the play. It's going to be 4th and 4. We'll see if they try to go for it. Why not? Ventura has that very strong and powerful offense. 13:01 just for your time check coming in here into the game. Ryan, you're sitting in the booth next to me. We're finally back up. How do you feel about this offense that we're going to be seeing tonight? And looks like that play, they're going to call first down. I don't think the spot was correct on that one, but nonetheless, they're going to move the chains. It's first down, so they're going to be down to the Raiders' 38-yard line. Ventura College is driving.
Yes, this offense, actually 4th down conversions, they have 62% of the time they convert it. So, of course, great play to be able to get a first down.
So here we go again. Getting set. Luton takes snap, hands it off. It's going to be a quarterback keeper, but there's going to be a flag on the play. We'll see what they choose to call there. So it's going to be a false start against Ventura. It's going to send them back 5 yards. If you're going to be looking at one stat line that the Raiders are advantageous about. What's going on?
It doesn't sound good. It's like double and skipping. And skipping.
Well, Mike said he would text me if it didn't sound good. So I'm going to take Mike's word for it. Luton out of the gun, takes a snap back, looking to cross. He hits his receiver on the screen. It looks to be number 2 on the play. That's Elijah Alexander. He's also one of the other receivers that they like to target for this team. Firing way downfield, has an open receiver, and that the corner is beat, and there is no one in the zone. It's going to be a touchdown for Ventura, so they don't waste any time, and they get started really early here after that first down drive. It's 11:36. That's 6 for the Pirates, 0 for Moorpark.
This team also, we were talking about offense. Of course, I mentioned the 62% conversion rate on 4th down. That's just unbelievable. But in the red zone, of course, they weren't able to get in the red zone. But when they do get in the red zone, this offense is deadly. 97% of the time they score.
And that kick is going to be up, and it's good. So there you go. Pirates wasting no time. Remember, their 2 losses this season are against Riverside and Fullerton. Riverside and Saddleback. They haven't played Fullerton yet, but, both of those pretty heavy losses on their end, but you're looking at 1 and 2 right there with Riverside and Saddleback. Saddleback being the first-place team in the 3C2A and Riverside being number 2. So not 2 teams that you would be necessarily upset about if you have lost to them. Nonetheless, the Raiders have a lot of work to do. I was talking to Coach Stu earlier on this week, and he said one of his keys to success for this game for the Raiders is ball possession. The more time they can have the ball in their hands, the better chance that they have at keeping the score level. And it'll be intuitive for the Raiders and the Raiders coaching staff to make sure that they don't let this game get out of hand too fast. Obviously, we saw that happen in Fullerton, and that will be the number one game plan that they need to bring to the table here.
Speaking about time of possession, the defense for the Pirates, they actually give up 32.9 points per game. So this Raiders offense should have a big day, especially with Isaiah Johnson being in this game, number 23.
They're going to have a bunch set here. We'll see what they're up to. Possibly an onside kick, but they're going to send their players over, and the kick is going to be long and going out to – oh, that's going to be a new kick returner for the Raiders. Well, you've seen him return a few times before. He was going to be considered the guy who's going to take a lot of the snaps tonight, at least in regards to the running back position. That's number 25, Ray Thomas, with the return. He's up to about, I don't know, the 30-yard line, 29-yard line. 28 is where they're going to officially spot it. And it's going to be Cato Brown. He's going to have Thomas beside him. Thomas is going to be fighting, that's number 34, River Mesa. Or, excuse me, I'm completely wrong. Deshaun Francis is out there. Number 30. So, according to the Raiders coaching staff in this game, that they're going to be mixing it up quite a bit. Isaiah Johnson is healthy, but they were looking to get more running backs into the game. Still Francis out there. They're going to send Asachukwu in motion. It's going to be a run play to Deshaun, and he's going to drop the ball. It's fumbled and recovered by Fullerton. Well, we'll see what they choose, but it looks like there's no one calling for immediate action. And they're going to say that, well, if you look at the Ventura guys, they're running off the field saying that they have the ball and the referee's going to call it. Ventura picks the ball up in very good field position, or at least on the Raider end of the field. Ball control will be very important for these young running backs.
Yes, it is very important, but if we are able to control the ball, these statistics, 205 rushing yards per game, that's what the Ventura defense gives up. 205 per game. So we should see Moorpark having a big game tonight, especially since they are a run-heavy team with the dual-threat quarterback, Cato Brown, and the multiple running backs that we'll see tonight.
Well, now we're going to see Luton back on the field. He had his first touchdown throw, and he's going to be trying to throw across, but it's going to be to a receiver, number 27. I just lost my spot there. It's Noah Segrist, who's kind of there on a stick run. But Luton just ran out of time, made the smart call, but almost threw an interception there. It could have been tipped off of the hands of his receiver.
Yes, when you're taught when you're a young wide receiver, it's always, if you can't catch the ball, make sure nobody else can, so bat it towards the ground. It seemed like he tried to do that, but it just bounced off his fingertips slightly to the defender.
They're going to choose to run the ball on that play. Specifically, that was number 27, Noah Segrist. This Fullerton team, this Ventura team seems to be they seem to have a lot of depth on the running backs chart. You have the first guys, Isaiah Brown, Brian Burt, and Noah Segrist, who we just talked about. He has the least amount of carries in the strong core, and it's going to be a faked handoff. Loon's coming out. James Perryman in pursuit, but he's going to move out towards the far sideline. Does he have a lane? He might choose to run it, but he throws on the run. Almost intercepted, but it was batted down by number 17 from the Raiders. That was Hayden Galvin. It's going to force a fourth down. We might see the punt team come onto the field. We'll see what they choose to do. I mean, why not if you can pin the Raiders down inside their own 10? And it will be the special teams punting team out on the field. So the Raiders come up big there on defense to make a huge defensive stop after their offense puts them in a poor position.
Yes, Raiders defense is very dynamic, especially with Jordan Flack, number 43. He's 7 sacks on the season when the Ventura Pirates only have 8 as a team.
And that ball is going to be sky high, and it's going to take a Ventura bounce, and they're going to pick it up We'll see where they choose to mark it, if they're going to mark it on the 1. We'll see where they actually call it. Looks like the side judge is pointing to the line. It's tough to have speculation on any specific play like this from where we're at. And they're going to call touchback, so the Raiders going to get a break on that one. That was almost what spelled disaster. If you start on your 1 yard line, that pretty much puts your defense or your offense in a bad position anywhere. I don't care what even professional team you have on the field. That's not a good spot that you want to be in.
Yes, when you're pinned at that 1 yard line, the defense is taught to basically go in goal line formation, put everybody in the box because you know it's going to be a run.
So now you're going to see River Meza in. He's going to be slightly offset to the back of Cato Brown. Cato hands it off to Meza. Meza coming out to the outside. He cuts back in. There's going to be a flag on the play. We'll see what happens here. But that would have been what should have been a gain of 10 yards on the play and a first down. We'll see where it ends up going. And they're going to say holding against the offense. So 10-yard penalty sends them back to the 10-yard line. The Raiders not getting any momentum here. River Meza, what a good run that was. Hard to say whether or not it was set up by the hold. Talking to Coach Stewart, he basically told me, expect the unexpected. You're going to be seeing a lot of off-the-wall things coming from this offense tonight. Anything is possible. So you have Ostuko on the outside. You're going to have Sean Francis. He's running up the middle. That's a gain of 5 on the run.
And Deshaun Francis, what actually set up that run was he cut back towards the middle after going towards the left side of the formation, so the closest sideline to us. Rushing yards are going to be a premium in this game, though. We actually have 156 rushing yards per game, while they allow 205. So look for a strong running game, especially Deshaun Francis.
Francis, once again, he's come towards the inside, and he's going to be in there for another gain of what looks to be 3. So his last gain was 6. This one's going to be 3. It's now going to be 3rd and 11. We'll see what personnel come on the field. You see Ryan Wilmore, Cade Schmitz, and Corbin Covey. So it's now going to be back to our regular wide receiver spread. You have Osachu on the outside, Cade on the slot near the far sideline. You have almost a bunch set here on the near sideline. It's Ryan Wilmore, and they're going to send Covey in motion. And it's Cato Brown rolling to the outside. He's going to be firing over the center, and that's almost intercepted and picked off. It was Emmanuel Osachuku and Ryan Wilmore in the area, but no one was in the path of the ball. It was a bullet path as Cato ran out. Now we're going to see Evan Benson out onto the field. He leads actually the 3C2A Northern Division in his conference with 40 yards, 44.1 yards per punt. So he has the chance of at least putting the Raiders defense onto the field with decent field position. Put a little pressure on Ventura to try and perform, but that hasn't been a problem for them so far. Last week they shellacked a Santa Monica team that hasn't been playing too well, and the punt is going to be up and traveling very high, and they're going to choose to keep it. There's no fair catch on the play, and number 1 takes the ball.
That was Rashawn Crumby.
Rashawn Crumby. There's going to be a flag on the play. It should be a late hit against one of the Raiders blocking the back. We'll see what they choose to call.
Seems like it wasn't too surprising that they didn't call for a fair catch, especially when the punt return average on the season, they're 11th in 3C2A, and in conference play, they are 2nd overall in the Northern Conference. So when Vashawn Crumby gets the ball, he is from IMG Academy, which if you know anything about high school football, IMG Academy is always in the top in the nation. They are from Tallahassee, Florida. They always have 20-plus Division I recruits. So Vashawn Crumby, a 6'2", 195-pound defensive back, he is a star athlete for this Pirates.
So there you have it, the personal foul against the Raiders, late hit on a play that was basically called dead. So that's going to send back to their own, what looks to be 33-yard line. Ventura starting deep in their territory now, so a great punt there for Evan Benson. Yes. You know, it even sets up good field position for the Raiders defense. Nonetheless, you're going to see Luton takes a snap back. He's going to be scanning the field. Lots of time in the pocket. He's going to hit his receiver. That's number 9, Steve Houston. Excuse me, Yeah, Steve Houston. That was a gain of 5 on the play. They like to, it was interesting watching film on Jake Luton. He really doesn't like to throw way downfield unless he has that for sure shot, which is very, very, not necessarily very often, but with these high caliber receivers that you can see that happen quite a bit.
Yeah, so you do see it happen quite a bit because all these wide receivers, they're around 6'4". All of them are anywhere between 6'1" and 6'5", but the average is around 6'4", and they are lean. They're only around 210 pounds, so they run fast and they shed tackles easily.
So they're going to call for the first down there. I think the spot was a little bit generous there on the play. Nonetheless, first down for Ventura. They're now starting from their own 38-yard line. 7:53 left in the first quarter. Takes a snap back. It's a throwing play all the way. He's going to be rolling inside the pocket, outside of the tackle box. Almost picked up. That was number 45 coming into your screen, Tion Timmel. That would have been a first down for Ventura, but it's just have his hands on the tight coverage for the Raiders. That was number 5, Joseph Guerrero. Sure safety coming in.
As you see, Jake Lynn, you will see a lot of questionable throws as well with 283 attempts at a 56.5% passing percentage.
They do like to pass the ball, and it's intercepted. And that was, wow. It's going to be Mike Jones who read that one all the way. He was coming inside, and he just made the risky move, stepped inside the receiver. Lutton made a very poor choice, and if there's anything that you can say that is knocking this Ventura offense is their turnover ratio.
Yes.
And what can you say? Mike Jones just stepped in there. He made the risky decision. You see some of the best cornerbacks in the NFL do this, is where they read the play, and once they see that wide receiver or that slot receiver that they're covering turn his eyes towards the receiver to track a ball in, they choose to take that one step in and to the side. That's really going to propel them forward. And he did just that. Mike Jones comes up with a big, big interception here in Ventura territory.
Yes, that is what you're taught, and you're supposed to go after that ball. The only riskiness of that play is if it's a double move, if he looks towards the quarterback and then runs a streak route.
It's going to be a quarterback keeper. Cato Brown, excuse me, not a quarterback keeper. Cato Brown handed it off. That was River Mesa on the run. Same personnel as you saw the last series. Ryan Wilmore near your near sideline. You have Asachukwu out on the far sideline. You're going to have now Deshaun Francis as the feature back standing next to Cato Brown. It's going to be a 2-receiver set. You have Isaiah Johnson still standing on the sideline. We've yet to see him. Deshaun Francis trying to find a hole. He gets hit and wound up in the pile. It's another gain of 3 yards. They're going to mark him only with 2 on the play. It's now third and roughly 5. We really have yet to see Cato throw the ball at all in this game with the minimum looks we've had, but I do not count out the catching abilities of Ryan Wilmore and Emmanuel Asachukwu, Corbin Covey, and Kate Schmitz. Covey in motion. Cato rolls out to the far side looking to throw. He's going to hit Asachukwu, and Asachukwu is hit out of bounds, but that's a first down for the Raiders. They get their first down of the game. It's 6:25, and they're deep in the red zone now on the 14-yard line.
That was a perfect play by Cato Brown. He rolled out to his right on the far sideline, and what you're taught to do as a quarterback is right before the wide receiver is about to make the move, you throw it in the intended position that the wide receiver is going to be, and that's what he did.
They're going to choose to hand it off to Deshaun Francis again. He's in there with a gain of 5 on the play, so another good run by him. He's, aside from the fumble and recovery by Ventura, he's done a good job of ball control throughout this season, and tonight he's done okay besides the one fumble. 5:53. It's now 2nd and 6 from the 10-yard line. Handed off to Francis again. He's coming in the middle, and that was number 30 on the tackle for Ventura. Oh, number 31, Darian McIntyre. You're going to see another 3rd down and 2 here. Now, here's the question. Do you think the Raiders are going to go for it on 4th down if they end up getting to that point and not getting first down here?
I think it should be a decision to go on 4th down, especially with their running attack and the weakness of the Pirates' running defense.
They're going to choose a quarterback keeper. Cato going towards the outside. See if he gets the spot. He should. And they are going to give it to him, so it's now going to be a 1st and goal from the 4-yard line. Raiders, really working on the back of Cato Brown. He is their workhorse here on offense. Very few teams have found a way to efficiently stop him. He's always basically guaranteed 21 points a game. And they're going to choose to hand it off, and that's number 31 for the Raiders. Anthony McLean. And he's into the pile, and the pile's driven back, but it's enough to get gain of 2.
What I would say, looking at this formation from the Pirates defense, the Raiders should run a little bit of a read option. So have the quarterback, Cato Brown, roll out to a side, but have pitch read. So have McLean running out.
Well, you got McLean on the outside there, and there's going to be a grab of the helmet, but that's a touchdown for the Raiders. Anthony McLean tags his first touchdown of the season, and the Raiders back into this game. Pirates 7, Raiders 6.
And as we mentioned, we're going to see a lot of new running backs in this game, at least not new, but they haven't had a chance this season. Deshaun Francis only has 49 yards on the season, and Anthony McLean only has 36, so he will get a lot more carries.
Gavin Todd, the kick is up, and it's going to be good, so count it. Raiders 7, Pirates 7. Now, we haven't even had a chance because of the technical difficulties we had in the beginning of the game to talk about. This is the Citrus Cup.
Yes.
And, this is what you would consider primetime football. On any given Saturday night, the rivalry goes back till 1977.
Wow.
This is one of the most coveted games. If you're in any college, they have a trophy after the Citrus Cup, and whoever wins the game at the end of the game usually parades around the field, with the trophy over their head. I mean, this might as well be bigger than the Super Bowl. The tradition of Moorpark football and Ventura football goes back to 1977, and there has been times where Ventura has owned it. There has been times where Moorpark has owned it. All throughout the 80s when Moorpark had their long victory streaks, they owned it for a long time.
And especially with this being the 49th meeting.
Yeah. It's been around for a long time, hasn't it?
Yes, it has.
So Gavin gets ready to kick off here. We're probably going to see, it's going to be Crumby to take the kick, and this one's going to be out of bounds, and they're going to call a flag on the play, so that's going to send it up. Unlucky bounce there for Gavin Todd. It's going to send the ball up quite a bit.
Yes, this is an unlucky bounce for Gavin Todd, but to be able to see what Vashon Crumby is able to do with the ball on a kick return, it might not be so bad. Of course, having the ball at the 35-yard line is pretty bad for the Moorpark Raiders defense, but instead of giving up a touchdown return, I guess you could say, for Crumby, which he is very adept to doing.
So nonetheless, you have the Ventura offense taking the field. One out of the gun. That's where he likes to sit anyways. Takes a snap back, and he's going to hand it off. That's 27, Noah Segrist. He's going out towards the outside sideline, and he's going to be in there for a good gain on that play. It's 8 yards. Up to roughly the 43-yard line. 4:12 left in this first quarter. Man, time has creeped by. That's usually what happens when you get a couple defense stops and they like to throw the ball. They're going to send slot receiver in motion. It looks like they're going to have a bunch set on the inside. And it's going to be a quarterback keeper. Button's going to take it up, and it's a first down for him up to roughly the 45-yard line.
And with Segrist, it almost feels like this Pirates offense, they do not run the ball too many times. They're 64th overall in the 3C2A in rushing attempts, but they're second in rushing yards per attempt.
There you go. Kind of spells out the story there, and it's going to be Noah Segrist with the carry, but he was going nowhere on the play. It's going to be now 2nd and 9. The Raiders line, defensive line, able to come in there clutch on the play. Really haven't seen much of the receivers except for the first series. We'll probably see that here. Lutton's rolling out, and he's in pursuit. He hits his receiver. It's number 85 with the reception, Jonte Broski. He's the third most targeted receiver on this team. He averages 3.4 yards per reception. Like I said, they like their check down yards. They really don't choose to go way down the field. It's now 3rd and 1 on the play. But you see what happens when Lutton gets out of the outside of the pocket. He's really able to run and gun, if you will. And that's why I think he usually hits those short routes, because they're high percentage and they work in a check down scenario. You can just keep working down the field. And there's going to be a run play up the middle, and there was nowhere to go.
Wow.
They're going to choose to spot it on the line of scrimmage. There was no gain on the play. What a good job by the Raiders defense. They got all the big guys in there. It's the heavy set. They're only playing cover 2 right now because why would you?
Yes, and as you were mentioning the rolling out capabilities of Lutton, you actually kind of have the defense come towards you when you're the quarterback. When you're rolling out, the linebacker is spying on you, and a wide receiver can slip right behind the linebacker.
So Lutton rolling out, he hits his receiver number 23, and that's going to be enough for a first down once again. That's Tanner Gee. He's a running back, actually. He was playing on the outside, able to come in. What's up? Yeah. Lutton takes a snap back, hands it off once again. There's only a gain of a couple on that play again, giving a generous look on the play of the referees. It's a gain of 3, 2nd and now 7. Lutton out of the gun again. Fakes a handoff. He's looking downfield. This might be one of the longer throws you'll see in the game. That's going to be considered a catch. They're going to call it in. Another first down for Ventura. They're driving down the field this time up to the Raiders 25, just outside of the red zone.
Kendrick Mallory was there on the reception. He's 6'3", 205 pounds. So as I was mentioning, that size of the wide receivers is just overwhelming.
Right here in front of us on the gates. They're going to do a delay set count. It's 1 minute left in the first quarter. Pirates 7, Raiders 7. We'll see if that stands. Lutton, and they're going to choose to hand it off once again. And then their featured back, Noah Segrist, who really hasn't been seen throughout this season at all, actually. He's not been listed as one of the, he's been seen as one of the least used running backs, possibly Ventura saving Isaiah Brown for bigger and better things in the rest of the season. Nonetheless, Segrist getting a lot of the carries tonight. Lutton fakes a handoff. He's going to be choosing to fire over the middle. They hit their tight end. Well, he's actually listed as a wide receiver in our book. Number 87, James Heckman.
And now we're going to be able to see this Ventura Pirates red zone offense. As I mentioned early on in the game, they have a 97% scoring percentage in the red zone.
Throwing back shoulder. They're going to choose to mark it on the 1. We'll see what they choose to do here. Obviously, Ventura likes to throw the ball in any scenario. The line judge literally places it. It's goal in inches. 2nd and inches from the half-yard line. But that's going to be the end of the first quarter. We're going to step away for a moment. We'll see you on the other end of this half. You're doing such a good job, Bree. You're doing such a good job, Bree. You can sit on this. Oh. I know, they have a mascot. It's better than our mascot. Okay, we're coming back in 5, 4, 3, 2, 1. Welcome back, everybody. We're still sitting here in the press box on the far sideline. On the near sideline, not the far sideline. On the other end of the field, so we're getting a backwards view of this. Lutton takes snap back. He's going to be using the quarterback keeper, firing towards the end zone, and it's going to be incomplete. He was looking for his receiver way back there, trying to deke the offense or the defensive line into thinking that it was going to be a run play, but he did a good job there of selling it. Nonetheless, the run was incomplete. It's going to be 3rd and now inches. Interesting enough, we'll have to see whether or not they choose to go for it on 4th down. I don't see why not. You give up the 4th down, you score a touchdown. If you don't, you put the Raiders on the 1-yard line and it doesn't matter. So, you know, interesting. We'll see. We'll see how that ends up. Obviously, you see the incomplete pass. We'll see who comes onto the field. Just changing up personnel. It doesn't look like Lutton's going anywhere.
And they kind of have an advantage, of course, as I've been talking about this whole game with their wide receivers being an average of 6'4". That rollout play, that is a perfect play because the defense is tricked into thinking that you're running, but then you just lob it in the back of the end zone to one of your tall guys.
And they're going to run it, and that should be a touchdown for Ventura. He just barely got over the line of scrimmage. And they're going to call it a touchdown, says the man with the white cap. He's the ultimate authority. So Pirates 13, Moorpark 7. Like I said, I don't see why they wouldn't go for it on 4th down. You're literally on the gates. Or on the doorstep, if you will.
Yes, you have nothing to lose, as you mentioned. 1-yard line, that's what the Raiders will be placed at if you don't get the 4th down conversion.
And the kick will be up and good. That's the second one from Sal Flores.
Looking at this crowd, it seems like they're really pumped up for this Pirates football. You see the crowd with, it seems like they have cowbells. They even have thunder sticks, what you see in most professional basketball games. But at a college football game, you see these thunder sticks coming out. They really like to support their team. Also, what's kind of surprising, you see a lot of Moorpark fans in the crowd. I see a lot of blue and black, which showing good support, of course, as we mentioned, that 49th annual Citrus Cup. So they definitely want to come out here and win, especially in Ventura territory.
Here in Ventura, they only have one side of the grandstand, so there's no away side, if you will. You'll see Ventura on the far sidelines where they choose to stand, actually. Possibly intimidating for the away team if they're standing literally right in front of the home fans. A decent-sized stadium here.
Yes, very decent-sized.
In Ventura, apparently they average around 1,000 people a game. So anyways, it's going to be TJ Uborn choosing to take this one back. He's going to bring it up to the 30 after cutting in. Takes a decent hit, but he's up and running around.
Excuse me. See TJ out there getting these kick returns because I know the last game he did not get too many kick returns. It was mostly DJ Farmer or Ray Thomas that were catching those. But this game, it's nice to see him get some.
So the Raiders have to score here if they want to keep things even. 14 for the Pirates, 7 for the Raiders. They're going to be playing out of the pistol set here. Cato hands it off. You're going to see Deshaun Francis with the rock once again. He gets maybe a gain of 1 on the play, depending on where the spot is. There's nowhere to go. He kind of ran into the blocker on the D line. That was number 56 on the outside, making the tackle, Mark Zavala.
Seemed like there was a little bit of miscommunication from Nate Lemos on the block. He was trying to block 3 guys, it looked like. So the offensive line, they need to be able to get back on track to get these rushing yards.
Osachukwu in motion. They hand it off once again, but there is nowhere to go again. Francis piled on top of. Raiders not throwing the ball at all. Ryan Wilmore has not been targeted yet. We'll see. We see the offensive set for the long yardage play here. It's now 3rd and 9, 13:50 left on the clock. They're on the what looks to be 31-yard line. You have Wilmore on the outside, Covey in the slot, Cade in the slot, and you have Osachukwu, the lone receiver, on the near sideline. Now they put Covey in motion, bunched up with Emmanuel. It's Cato rolling out to the outside. And he's going to fire and almost hits Cade in stride, but it was just overthrown. Not sure who the intended receiver. It seemed to be right in between Ryan Wilmore and Cade.
As unfortunately just sailed over his head, but on 3rd down conversions for the season, Moorpark has not been too great on those. 30% 3rd down conversion percentage, which is 50 at the 3C2A.
So you're going to have to get the percentage up if you want to be in any way competitive in this league. Benson has time. The punt is up, and it's spiraling. It's going to be a long one this time, and it's going to be dropped and picked up by the Raiders.
Wow. And that was Bashan Crumby, number 1 from IMG Academy. IMG Academy is almost like a college team. They have basically a college campus. It's all focused on sports, so every day he's working on those punt returns, so it's very surprising to see him fumble it.
Wow, what a great play by the Raiders there to identify. I think it was Mike Jones who was the initial man on the ball there. Nonetheless, it turns out just to be a long completion for the Raiders. I like to see it that way. Whenever you get the ball on 4th down and you punt it off and you get it back, it's like, well, hey, I guess it was just
a
you know, as a pitcher, you give up a baseball, you know, a foul ball far down the side, you know, the foul line.
Yes.
And it's foul. You know, it's just a long strike. You know, that's all it is. You're just getting ahead there. Cato takes snap. He's looking to throw, running towards the near sideline. There's a flag out on the field. He fires, and he hits Ryan Wilmore, who came all the way from the far sideline. We'll see if there's a hold on the play. Looks like Ventura's defensive line is pretty confident about what's going to happen there, and we'll see what ends up getting called. There's a player down on the field from Ventura College. He's finally turning over. We'll see training staff attending to him right now.
Something that I see out of Ryan Wilmore, of course, we always talk about his great hands, but his route running. Of course, you just mentioned he ran from the far side of the field to the near side, but the route running, he's able to see his quarterback rolling out to the right side of the field. He's able to see that his quarterback is in distress with over 5 players running at him, and he's able to make his own route out of it.
Yeah, he does a good job of recognizing where the play is going to continue to go afterwards. You know, the job of a good receiver is to make sure that you don't stop until the play is officially, you know, out of the quarterback's hands.
Yes.
Once you see where the ball's going, now your job now switches to blocking and making sure that you can get your receiver downfield or whoever has the ball downfield. But, you know, the job of a good receiver and him executing very well on that play, Wilmore, was getting down the field, but not only finding a way to get open, and there's going to be a flag on the play for a neutral zone infraction. Cato fires over the center, and it's Cade Schmitz. He catches the ball in the end zone. Will they mark it a touchdown? They do. Touchdown, Raiders. Cade Schmitz just blows the coverage. We'll see what they choose to call here. It should be a touchdown. I don't know why they would do anything other than why the referee would call anything other than that.
Yes, with that touchdown play, so far during the conference play, there are 4 out of 5 on scoring in the red zone, so they're 80%.
So it's going to be ruled a touchdown. Gavin Todd's out onto the field. I figured. I don't think there would be any reason why they would need to call that. Coach Stewart would never, ever decline that penalty. Todd
declining a touchdown.
Why would you decline touchdown? Gavin Todd, his true leg, it's through the uprights. We have a 14-14 ball game here, ladies and gentlemen. 12:59 left on the clock. And it's never an uninteresting game. Last year, the Raiders had tied up at halftime. Obviously, that game ended a little bit differently than we hope this one will. But, you know, this is a different Raiders team. They've had a lot more time under Coach Stewart. Last year, it was the first year under Coach Stewart, and the Raiders just started to get rolling at that point in the season when they played against Ventura. And you saw at the end of the season, they were beating teams like Cerritos and College of the Canyons. They finished 5-5. The Raiders here have something to play for. You know, we like to say this, in the Northern Division of the 3C2A, if you lose 2 games, your season's over for conference play. So it's important that the Raiders need to play to win here, not only for 3C2A action, but also to bring the glory of getting that trophy from the Citrus Cup back into our hands. The coaches were talking about it. They wanted to get it back into their trophy case. Coach Stewart said in his post-practice speech that he really wanted to just clear out all the trophies, which he did. He actually cleared out all the trophies in his trophy case, and he truly believes that they're going to bring this one back, and I want to believe him too.
Hey, that's a great way of thinking of it. Of course, if you want to do something, you have to make sure that you believe in yourself. So the head coach believing in himself enough to clear out the trophy case and bring it back home to Moorpark, that is great to be able to display to your team.
And now we're going to see Lutton take the field again. The last drive was successful for them. They drove all the way down to the half-yard line and were finally able to get it over the line of scrimmage into the end zone. But it was not an easy one. The Raiders' defense did not make it easy for the offense. Lutton looking to throw. Has a couple receivers open, but he's going to be running for his life here out towards the far sideline, and he's going to get a gain of 5. They're going to give him 6, and now they're going to throw a flag on the play, probably a personal foul for hitting him outside of the line of, hitting him out of bounds.
And that would be Jesse Lamb at number 54. He has 54 total tackles on the season. One of the star defensive players, middle linebacker. Great pursuit on the quarterback, though. Of course, unfortunately, tackling him out of bounds, but great pursuit on his part.
We'll see if they choose to waive off the penalty. It was one of those snap decision penalty flags that kind of came out. And the referee has the flag, and he's going to wave it off. There's going to be no penalty on play. You know, that's always a tough job on the linesman. You have to make a snap decision, and if you're on the line there, sometimes the way that you see it is different from someone who's actually on the line because you're standing just slightly offset. So, you know, good job the referees talking that one over and making sure that they know exactly what's going on. And there's going to be a flag out on the field. If they're calling it dead, possibly a false start there. Yeah, it is. So it's going to send the ball back 5 yards. The Raiders defense now going to switch up personnel. You see the heavy line on the set when they're close to the first down. You see the lighter guys taking the field when they have to watch the passing play, which they most likely will be. It's now 2nd and 8, so basically knocks out the entire run by Lutton on that. 12:28 left on the clock. They're from their own 32-yard line. It's now 2nd and 8. Lutton fakes the throw, and he's going to hit his receiver. That's number 2, Elijah Alexander, and he's all the way down to the Raiders' 33-yard line. He was just wide open out in the middle. Good recognition of the one-on-one coverage by Lutton on that play. The Raiders' defense found with their pants down. The only thing Cato can do is stand on the sideline and watch. Hopefully he can get the ball back in his hands. That's where the Raiders are most dangerous, like I said before. Anyways, Lutton looking downfield. He's going to have a lot of pressure, but he's going to hit number 27 in stride, Noah Segrist. He's got the reception for a gain of 6, now 2nd and 4 from the 28-yard line.
as you were mentioning, the defensive substitutions earlier on in this drive, the big boys coming in for the plays close to the first down marker, and the more athletic ones coming into the game for the actual 10 yards.
Lutton takes a handoff to Segrist. He's looking downfield, and he's going to choose to run. He does a great job of faking the run. He's going to be out towards the near sideline and out of bounds around the 12-yard line. Excuse me, they're going to mark it at the 14. First down, Pirates. 11:40 left in the first half.
As I was saying, those more athletic guys coming in for the actual first downs, those are basically the defensive ends, the quicker guys that can follow around those wide receivers or running backs, which you need on those passing plays, especially since Lutton throws the ball a lot during this game.
Lutton fakes a handoff again, throws on the screen. There's a good block on the play, and there's a late flag. There you go. That was definitely holding. Usually when you see a player flying over like that, that's because he was thrown to the ground. Joseph Guerrero was hit and thrown way, way back. So we'll see what they choose to call on that. Should be going against Ventura on that play. And it will be. We'll see what the referee calls. Well, there you go. It's going to be a block below the waist, and that's why you saw Joseph Guerrero kind of go flying over the blocker there. He shouldn't have dropped his head like that, and that's a big personal foul penalty, 15 yards backwards, 11:20 on the clock, and now essentially negates any type of goal line offense you're going to be running there, because essentially what Ventura has done successfully in this game is just check down yards down the field just consistently. And now it puts Lutton in a 1st and 25 situation. Also negates the previous run there on that play. But they have been willing to air it out here. Lutton, he's in the pocket, steps in, fires across the flat, and the ball's picked off. It bounced out of the receiver's hands, picked off by number 32 on the Raiders, Brett Herone. Intended receiver was number 22 for Ventura, Isaiah Brown. He's coming out of the slot there. That is exactly what the Raiders have been looking for there on their own end of the field, and that drastically changes the way that this game is going to be played here in this first half.
Yes, and the second interception thrown by Lutton. Of course, he has 11 on the season, so he doesn't make the best of throws, and that throw, it seemed like he had to fit in the tightest of windows, but that defender, he just went for him.
He threw a high throw, too, and it was almost thrown too hard, and it just bounced out of his hands, picked up. Raiders get the ball back, and there's going to be a false start penalty against the Raiders.
Going back to that Lutton throw as well, when you're quarterback position, you usually try to see where your wide receivers are hitting and where the defensive backs are. That defensive back, it wasn't Heron on the play, I believe it was Mike Jones. He was running straight towards that wide receiver because he knew he was going to get the ball. That's when you fake the pass to that wide receiver and make it to another.
So he's going to have a bunch set on the near sideline. It's going to be Cade and Emmanuel Asachukwu there. You have Covey and Ryan Wilmore out on the far sideline. It's now 1st and 15 from their own 15-yard line. Cade, quarterback keeper, has the lead blocker. He's going to fake juke, and he's going to run out towards the near sideline. We'll see where they end up marking this one. He was out around the 30. We'll see if they mark it enough for a first down. 15-yard run by Cato on that play. What a good job of identifying where he needed to go. It will be enough for a first down. 10:52, the Raiders up to their own 30-yard line.
It's good to see this Raider offense out here getting a first down because that Raiders defense has been working tremendously.
Covey bunched up on the line of scrimmage. They're going to hand it off. And it was number 31, Anthony McClain. He had a nice gain on that play. It was 5, so 2nd and 5. He kind of fell forward, but he got enough out of it. You still have Wilmore, who made that big catch that basically set up first down. He's on the outside. You have Asachukwu on the near sideline. Next to him is Covey, who's now in motion. They hand it off. There's going to be a flag on the play, probably holding it to McLean once again. We'll see. You know, usually when they throw the flag to that line of scrimmage, it spells bad news.
Yes, usually it's bad news for the offense. With these McLean runs for 5 yards, it's good just to see 5 yards out of it, because if you are going to get to the average that the Pirates give up per game, which is around 205, it's actually 205.6 yards per game, but around 205 yards per game they give up on the rushing side, you need to have those little chunk yards to be able to gain that confidence in yourself with the backup running backs in the game. And, of course, as we mentioned, Anthony McLean only has around 30 rushing yards this season, so he is technically a backup.
So now 2nd and 20. They have Asachuku in motion. They're going to hand it off. It's McLean once again. He's running. He's hit, but he's battling for yards. There was a 5-yard gain, now 3rd and 15. Raiders put in another hole. We'll see what ends up being orientated out of this. Last time we saw almost Cato running out of what would be considered a Wildcat-style run for that 15-yard gain that was a first down. The clock still running, 9:23 on the clock. You have Wilmore on the outside, Cade on the slot. He's being joined by Covey. You have Asachuku on the one-on-one coverage. Cato looking downfield, waiting for the play to develop. Was looking for McLean. It's now 4th down, so the Raiders trade possession. It's going to be Evan Benson coming out of the field, but don't count him out. Still 14-14, 9:07 left on the clock. And you're going to see Crumby out to take another kick once again. We'll see if he gets redemption here.
Maybe we'll get one of those long receptions again if Crumby doesn't catch it.
You know, all it is just giving yourself the ball back. I mean,
hey, it's a very
I wouldn't be
outlook.
I'm not too mad about it. I'm not going to lie. Benson gets the punt off, and this one's end over end. See which way it's going to bounce, but there's no bounce on it. Crumby makes a great move, but he's only able to gain a couple out of the move. It's now going to be placed on the Ventura's own 42-yard line. Now they're actually going to spot it on the 40. So the Raider defense out on the field. 8:57 now. Benson putting his leg to work as he did last week. There is a reason why he's considered the best punter actually in the 3C2A. He averages 44.1. We'll see if where the stats go. It should be only spelling good news for him.
He really resembles a local punter in the Los Angeles Rams, Johnny Hecker. He gets around 44 yards per punt attempt as well.
They're going to hand it off. That's number 22, Isaiah Brown. He's finally getting into the game. He is their featured running back. That's a gain of 6 on the play. Now 2nd and 4. You could probably see why they wanted to keep him out of the game, but now that Ventura is noticing that this isn't quite the easy game that they might have thought it might have been. I mean, coming into the game looking on paper, you'd assume based on who's played who and what the score lines have looked like that Moorpark should crumble in the face of this Ventura team, but it's now 3rd down and 4 with a long overthrown pass by Luton. You know, if you can say anything, the Raiders defense has been very good against Luton, who's had quite a few interceptions this season, and he already has 2 in this game.
Yeah, this is very surprising because we've seen in the past few games the Raiders have been giving up a lot of passing yards and been giving up a lot of passing touchdowns, but in this game, it's a different story.
Luton rolling out to the far sideline, trying to find a receiver. It's almost intercepted again off the hands of his receiver. Another 4th down. Raiders defense. When they're good, they're great. You've seen them on both sides, good and bad this year. And wow, they are doing a good job against this high-powered Ventura offense.
And it seems like no matter what is on paper for these Moorpark Raiders versus Ventura Pirates, no matter what's on paper between these two teams, it's always going to be a close game because of that rivalry. It's almost, even if the Raiders or the Pirates were the worst team in 3C2A, they would find a way to be able to make this a competitive game with that atmosphere that we see tonight.
And now there's going to be a delay of game, or what we think should be a delay of game against Ventura. That's going to send it back another 5 yards. I don't know what was going on the sidelines over there, if that was maybe to catch the Raiders off guard and get them to jump, but Raiders weren't moving. That's what you're taught, at least on special teams. Don't move until the ball is hiked. You don't want to get any penalties. Punt almost blocked. No one knows where it is. And it's going to take a Ventura bounce down to the 10-yard line. It's the second time they get a good bounce. Covey chooses not even to bother touching it, but they're going to get it inside of the inside of the 7.
Bobby Ferrer, number 35, was almost there for the block. That was great. He was able to see that the blockers in front of the punter, of course, there's always 3 blockers in front of the punter in that formation. He was able to see that they weren't really paying attention too well, went right around them and laid out, almost got a hand on it. He just needed a few more inches. Of course, he's 5'10".
This is considered the game of inches.
Yes, it is.
8:09 left play on the clock here in the first half. Cato Brown stepping from his 1-yard line, takes a snap back. He's going to choose the quarterback keeper, trying to find a hole through the center. He bounces off of it. He slides his legs first. He's in there with a gain of 2 on the play. It's now 2nd and 8. He was down with an ankle injury at the end of the College of the Canyons game last week. But he actually wasn't injured. He was just shaken up a little bit on the play, and he's back into full Cato mode, if you will. And now you see something interesting here. You have Ryan Wilmore stacked up on the near sideline, and they're going to choose the jet sweep play. And that's going to be no gain, actually a loss of yards. I don't know what they're choosing to do there, but looks like they put Ray Thomas in motion, but he was being pursued the entire time by the Ventura defense. Raiders haven't really been successful this year on that jet sweep play. It's now 3rd and 11. 7:06 left to play in the first half. Ventura's defense has to come up big here if they want to do anything. Cato, quarterback keeper, he's in through the middle, and that's a gain of probably 1, if anything. Here comes the punting team again. And it all was set up by the good punt and roll from Ventura's special teams.
It seems like the past few times that Ventura has punted it, it almost took a Ventura bounce. I think the ball almost recognizes that it's on Ventura ground. Just takes a little more bounce for the Pirates to set them up in their own red zone.
Benson waiting deep in his own end zone. The punt is up, and they just barely almost got to it. And Crumby makes a good move. He bounces out towards the far sideline. He's up to the 45. There's flags all over the place. Ryan Wilmore was the subject of a couple late hits and a legal block in the back. We'll see if he's okay. He's running back to the sideline with his head down. But there's a lot of flags on that. You should definitely see the ball coming back with a 15-yard penalty on that one. Flags all over the place, calling the same exact penalty. If I saw it, you guys at home saw it. The referees definitely saw it. You know, if you could say anything, the Raiders do beat the Ventura Pirates in one scenario. They actually don't give up as many penalty yards as Ventura does.
Yes, that is true, and very surprising from their last game against College of the Canyons, where there was almost every single penalty called against them. But as you did mention, there are not as many penalties. The Ventura Pirates are ranked 20th in penalties in 3C2A, while the Moorpark Raiders are ranked 43rd in penalties. That was, of course, just from that last game, but for the past few games, at least conference matchups, it has been all Ventura Pirates in penalties. They are actually 39th overall in penalties, while the Raiders are 49th.
So Luton's going to take over from his own 40-yard line after that penalty. The ball was up to almost the 45 of the Raiders. And the coaching staff is going to be on field. It looks like they're going to call a timeout here. And we'll see you after the timeout.
Oh, I thought I heard something. Oh, yeah, there you are. Yeah, it's all live. Good. Do you want to do a sideline report? Hey, sideline report? Yeah. All right. Yeah. Oh, wait, were you knocking?
All right, ladies and gentlemen, we're back after the timeout. Obviously, see touchdown, long pass from Lutton, now 20-14. .5:57 left on the clock in this first half. Number 47 out to kick for Ventura, Saul Flores. That kick is up and good, so Pirates 21, Raiders 21. Now this will be interesting. If the Raiders score on this next drive and we go to halftime, we're actually going to be exactly where we were last year going into halftime. It was 21-21 going into the locker room, believe it or not.
Wow. That is something, of course, as I was mentioning, these rivalry games, they are just able to step it up to another level on these two teams. And the Raiders, the thing that was beating them was what we just saw, how they scored the touchdown, a big pass play, able to break the coverage. But unfortunately, the Raiders were unable to get to him, and he did score the touchdown. So the Raiders, they do have to be able to get better safety play, better defensive back play to be able to make it a better contest. Of course, only down by 7, but make it a better contest and get this victory tonight.
Yeah. So we've had him on the sideline, Nathan Espinoza. He's going to go ahead and jump on the microphone really quick. Nathan,
hey, what's up, guys?
How are you feeling? What's going on the sideline for the Raiders? Obviously, we have a close game here. It's 21-14, 5:57 left on the clock. What did you see down on the sideline, Nathan?
Yeah, down on the sideline, it's ecstatic. You know, the guys are on another level. I've never seen them so happy, energetic, on top of each other. You can't stop this. They can't. They keep repeating, let's eat, let's keep eating, boys. Energy is where we're at. That's what's keeping these guys in the game right now. They're really up there.
So that was returned by, it looks like, TJ Newborn. He was up to the 24-yard line, just dropped down. Go ahead, Nathan.
Yeah, so, I mean, the Raiders have been doing excellent down there on the field. They're picking up all the little things. They're doing the wrapping for tackling, getting everything taken care of. What's really killing them is the big plays. We saw it with this last one right now. The big plays are what's really holding them back. As long as they can limit the big plays, they're in this ballgame no matter what.
So a good play by the defensive line there for Ventura. They're stopping the run here. Raiders not able to get any type of run offense set up early on in this game. They had a couple long runs, but Deshaun Francis had nowhere to go on that play. Can you talk about the running core for the Raiders offense this week?
Yeah, so we don't have Isaiah Johnson down there. He is suited and booted. I'm pretty sure he's on the sidelines for if necessary. He will go in if they really need him. Right now, it's being led by Francis and McLean for the most part, using McLean for that power, Francis for the finesse. Other than that, you know, like I said, the boys are keeping each other's pride up. They're keeping their spirits high. As long as they can keep that going, they got this Pirates team pretty locked down until they get these let these big plays up. The one thing that the coaches keep getting on the defense about is the defensive backs and safeties communicating. Communicate. Linebackers doing a great job. It just needs to come up from the defensive backs.
Cato airs it out way downfield. Manuel Asachukwu just barely missed it there. He had the tight one-on-one coverage, but he wouldn't have been able to do anything. It was Devontae Smith there. But Evan Benson back out on the field. So Raiders trailing 7 points, 5-17. Thank you so much, Nathan, for giving that look on the sideline.
No problem. I'll see you soon.
So Raiders go 3 and out there. We'll see what Benson is able to do. He's skied quite a few tonight, even in the first half. Benson is up. They're choosing not to do anything with it. It's going to take a Raider rollout to the 30, well, actually 29-yard line. Raiders defense lining up well. They'll get a decent spot to try and defend the ball here and force a punt from Ventura. They already did it a couple times tonight. We'll see if they can do it again.
Seems like it's very surprising that we didn't see Crumbie try to take that one back. Of course, the defense was coming towards him. That special teams of the Raiders were coming right towards him. But Crumbie, from being from IMG Academy, as I mentioned, he basically works on kick returns all day, every day. IMG Academy just focuses on sports, just like a real college team. So it was surprising that he did not take that one back, especially since they're so highly ranked in punt return yardage.
Luton chooses to hand it off. It's going to be their main man, Isaiah Brown. Excuse me, is number 27 with the run. Sometimes you see twos. Noah Segrist. He saw Brown a little bit on the last drive. Luton's going to have all his receivers stacked on the right-hand side, and there's going to be a false start. What a poor job number 6 did there. That was Kendrick Malloy. It's a false start, sending it back 5 yards, basically negates any type of gain. Now 2nd and 11 on the play. 4:38 left on the clock.
Going back to Crumbie real quickly, the punt returner. As I mentioned, they were very highly ranked in punt return yardage, 2nd in the conference play. Just amazing in 3C2A
Luton rolls
play.
out to the far sideline. He's looking for an open receiver, and he's going to be hit, and he still finds a lane on the inside. He's going to get a gain of 1 out of the play, 2 out of the play based on the line of scrimmage, but almost sacked. He was pursued by James Perryman, who did a great job of breaking through the offensive line on that play. Just was barely outran by Luton.
James Perryman, number 10, one of those star defensive ends for the Raiders. He has 23 total tackles, 2 sacks, and 6.5 tackles for loss. So he's very adept to tackling behind that line of scrimmage.
Cam Taylor on the near sideline, Elijah on the slot. And they're going to be throwing to Elijah, who makes a good move, moves outside. He's still in bounds. He's down to Raider territory. It's now on the 47-yard line. Elijah Alexander makes a good move, beats his corner. He just takes a step inside. Corner kept running backwards. Luton gets a first down out of it, 3:50. Clock starts becoming a factor here at the end of the first half. They're going to throw across the flat. They're going to hit their running back. That's good for a run of 10. Noah Segrist keeps on grinding tonight.
And as we mentioned, Segrist wasn't one of the highly rated running backs coming in this game, but he's doing a lot of damage against this Moorpark defense, who only gives up 104 rushing yards per game.
There's going to be flags out on the field. We'll see what gets called here. And there's going to be a timeout called by Moorpark. So we're going to step away for a moment. We'll see you after this timeout. What'd you do without me? So we're back here after the timeout. Raiders had to figure some things out here on defense. They're going to be a cover 2 high. Luton looking downfield, fires, and it's going to be a dropped pass. Elijah Alexander, who had the great catch in the last series, coming across the middle, not able to get hands around it. It would have only been a gain of 3. Now it's 2nd and 10 from the Raiders' 37-yard line. 3:35 left to play. You have Cam Taylor on the near sideline. Luton, throwing play again, fires way downfield, and there's going to be a flag on the play. I don't know what they're going to call that one on. But it's going to be pass interference nonetheless, because that's what they like to call. Unless they're going to say it's going to be offensive pass interference, but chances are, based on the way that this stuff has turned out tonight, it's going to be defensive pass interference and a 15-yard penalty and a first down for Ventura.
It just looked like what you were supposed to do if you're a defensive back. Just, if the wide receiver throws a little bit of hands at you, just throw a little bit of hands back. Make sure you stay in close contact with him. But the refs got a little trigger happy with that flag.
3:19, they're driving down the field now. Right on the edge of the red zone here. Takes a snap back. Luton looking across the field. He's going to fire towards the edge of the end zone. And it's going to be drop pass intended receiver number 4. That's Cam Taylor. He seems to be the guy they like to go towards in the end zone if it's going to be a longer play. He's got the legs underneath him. Otherwise, they like to go for the height in the end zone. 2nd and 10 now. Raiders have to be big and strong here on defense. 3:14, definitely within field goal range. Luton takes snap, hands it off. That's Johnson with the run. He's in there for a gain of 8. You can tell he's their featured back. He's only getting a couple selected carries so far tonight. It's only going to be a gain of 7, 3rd and 3.
They are in the dangerous zone once again, that red zone where they're 97% scoring percentage in the red zone. That is just unbelievable.
They've been successful tonight in the red zone. Luton out of the gun. 2:45, 3 yards to go. They're going to run it, and it's going to be Luton running. He's going to be into the end zone. It's a touchdown. He wasn't touched by anybody. I don't think anyone knew where the ball was. Ventura going to go 2 scores ahead here.
Something that quarterback did, Luton. Of course, that was a great play action. That was a great fake handoff quarterback keeper. He saw that wide open in the middle. The linebackers were spread out. Great blocking as well, and he was able to just almost hurl a defender. It looked like it was a broken tackle, but he went a little high on him, so he was able to hurdle the defender in for the touchdown. But great vision from the quarterback.
The kick is up and good. Going to count it now. Pirates 28, Moorpark 14, so it's not going to be where we were last year. 2:37. The Raiders still have a chance here to put another score on the board, but time is going to start counting down. The Raiders have to make some adjustments here on offense after those last 3 and outs.
And just going into halftime with another score up on the board, it's not just that they'll be down by 7, it's also that they'll have a little bit of momentum going into halftime. And momentum is everything in these rivalry games, especially when you're in enemy territory, as the Raiders are.
So you have Ray Thomas and TJ Newborn out to take the kick here. So far tonight, they've been able to do some damage, always getting the ball at least back up to the 25. You've seen a couple busted out to the 30 or even 35. The kick return has been okay. So 2:37, Pirates 28, Moorpark 14. And it's going to be Newborn. He's going to take the ball from his own 1-yard line, moving out towards the 20. He's up to the 30. He finds a blocker. He's up to the 40. He jukes once and jukes twice, but he's going to be down around the 46-yard line. What a good move by him. He moved towards the inside, then back towards the outside. He got his blocks and picked up and was able to bust it down. Good job by the Raiders special teams. Good return. That keeps going a trend of good turns for the Raiders special teams here.
Yes, and that was a great return, and it almost seemed like he was too fast for his blockers. If he was a little bit slower, he probably would have been able to break that one for a touchdown. But, of course, with that TJ speed, is just on another level.
It's a good point there. A lot of times you feel as if the runners are faster than their blockers, and that is true. It's like there's nowhere to go for them. But he did a good job of making something out of nothing there.
Yes, he did. And something that's actually a little surprising, we have not seen DJ Farmer, number 4, return a kick, even being in the formation tonight.
Oh, DJ Farmer's been out. Nonetheless, Cato, he's going to be all alone out there. Has Wilmore on the far sideline. Covey on the near sideline. It's going to be a quarterback keeper. Cato busts out a good run there. It's going to be now 3rd and 2.
That was a great crack block to be able to set him up. Cato Brown, of course, to be able to get that run. The blocking was superb on that play, able to block the linebacker from getting to Cato.
1:29. The clock keeps rolling. Cato, it's basically a wildcat at this point. You're going to have Cato running up, and he's in there good for another gain of yards. I don't know what number 6 for Ventura was celebrating, Kali Griffin. You see him stand up and walk away like he had done something pretty great there. I don't know. He just let up a 15-yard run by Cato Brown. Still going essentially out of the wildcat. Cato Brown's going to stumble forward. He's up there with a gain of 2. Clock still running. 1:05 left on the clock. They're at Ventura's. They're essentially at Ventura's 26-yard line. 56 now on the clock. Pirates 28, Raiders 14. We'll see if they can get a score on the board here right before the halftime. 20 on the play clock, so they're not running out. They have Wilmore on the far sideline. We'll see if he chooses to throw here. Cato rolling towards the near side. He's got to get some pressure, and there's going to be a flag on the play. Probably holding. The ball's fumbled. It's going to be picked up by the Raiders, but there's going to be a holding call against the Raiders. 32 seconds left on the clock. In the end of the run, Cato really did pick up a block. Unfortunately, he dropped the ball, but it was picked up.
And it was picked up by number 42, Mark Mard, and that was actually great for him to be able to fall right on it. Usually you see most players try to pick it up and continue to run, but to fall right on it, that's what you're taught to do.
Had he tried to pick it up there, it probably would have been picked up by Ventura, and that would have been a completely different scenario following the holding penalty. They would have been coming away with the ball, 32 seconds, take a knee, and you go into the locker room still leading by 2 scores. Raiders still driving here. I wouldn't say that they're going to stop. Cato has River Mesa. He's been known to bust out some runs, but remember, the Raiders only have 1 timeout, and they have 32 seconds. They got to make a move here, try and get down to the end zone.
Yes, and even with Gavin Todd's leg, this may be a little too far of a field goal kick for his range.
This would be over 50, and it would be his career long.
Never a bad time to set a career long, I guess.
Don't count them out just yet. It's 2nd and 18. Referee still had to figure something out. Wilmore on the far sideline. Next is Covey. You have Cade Schmitz and Emmanuel Asachukwu here on the near sideline. Covey comes into motion. He's bunched up on the set here. It's Cato. He's going to be running. Cutting inside and out. He's going to be knocked up pretty much at the line of scrimmage. Gain of 2 on the play. 18 seconds, and Raiders going to call their final timeout. It's not going to be a stoppage of play. Well, nonetheless, they're going to get some water out on the field. So the Raiders on the 35, 18 seconds left on the clock in the first half. Pirates 28, Moorpark 14. Stick around for our halftime show following the half. We'll have Nathan and Ryan breaking down what you saw. And we're going to step away until they start to get set. Oh, man. So here we go. Raiders pretty much going to have one more chance at it. We'll see if they try to kick it, but you're on the 35s, would be butting up against the career long of Gadavan Todd. Cato, it's pretty much been all him here on offense. He's going to choose to throw the ball. Stepping into the pocket, he's going to have a lane, and he has one blocker in front of him. He's going to be hit from behind and brought down. And it's going to be the kicking team on the field. He has 6 seconds. We'll see if they have time to get it off. 4 seconds, 3 seconds, 2 seconds. Do they have time? And they're going to call the end of the half, and the Raiders aren't going to have any chance to get a score on the board. So we leave you guys 28-14 here at the half. You'll be joined by Ryan and Nathan in a few moments as we get everything set up. Once again, I'm Emory Johnson onside Ryan Ketchum. You're listening to coverage of 3C2A action brought to you by the Moorpark Film, TV, and Media Production Department. We thank Bree Marquez for helping us out on camera tonight, and we'll see you in a few moments.
Shout out for Bree.
We just got to get out of here. Because it's hot in here, bro. It's your fault.
How long are we doing a halftime show? Are we doing like the regular 4 minutes?
Why is it tilted?
Are we doing a huge 4 minutes?
What?
4 minutes? Something like that? No, I mean like the length of it.
Nah, I would think we just go for whatever, you know?
Or we'll just whip
It's
it
not
out.
live, is it? Yeah.
Wait, it's not live?
No, we
Oh.
can't.
Oh yeah, it's live.
This is going to be live?
All right, so I'll just do an intro and then an outro for it. Hey, we're gonna be sponsored by Papa John. No, we're not. Hold up. Do we look good? Like meaning like this proportion? Legs up or legs down? All right. Yeah, because. Hello, everybody. Welcome to the halftime show. My name is Ryan Ketchum, the color commentator for tonight's action, alongside Nathan Espinoza, who is actually the field reporter for tonight. Ventura Pirates versus Moorpark Raiders, 49th Annual Citrus Cup. How is it feeling down on the field, especially in that beginning of the game when the Raiders were playing just phenomenal?
Yeah. You know, I touched on it when I came up here and talked to you earlier. The energy down there is absolutely ecstatic.
Yes.
The guys, they're full of it. They have each other's back tonight. They're communicating with each other. They're getting on each other. You can't talk enough about the good energy that they have going down there. The vibes are great. First off, besides that, these guys are just playing great. They are playing great. There's no question about that. There's a couple of we noticed we're not seeing so much, throwing of the ball, essentially.
Yes.
We're getting a lot more running. That being said, you know, that's Ventura's weakness is stopping the run. you got to exploit that. They have great corners. They have great safeties. The Ventura side is doing a great job of communicating on defense in the backfield. Opposite for the Moorpark Raiders. Not doing such a great job communicating in the backfield. They'd be doing a great job with this Ventura's offense. They're only giving up big plays. That's what's killing the Moorpark Raiders right now is big plays. Every time a big play goes down, it's about a 35, 40-yard pass, moves the ball down the field, gets the momentum on the Ventura Pirates side, and then they punch one in. As you know, the red zone is absolutely phenomenal for these guys. So it's almost hard to stop them once they get into the red zone. Preventing them from the red zone has been the key tonight, though.
And we were mentioning, of course, the rushing offense, 205 yards per game. That's what they give up. Are you expecting a little bit more of the same? Of course, Deshaun Francis doesn't get too much playing time. Anthony McLean does not get too much playing time. But they're playing phenomenal tonight. Not just the offensive line is not just playing great, but their running style is also great with them being able to do all the juke moves. Do you see them doing that as well? Of course, if it's not broke, don't fix it.
Absolutely. One of the main things I can tell that they're really utilizing right now is the power of Anthony McLean. When they need to get a yard or so, you put McLean in there, and he's going to work your way through it. Francis is more of an open field type of a guy. Give him some open space, and he's going to bounce around a little bit back and forth. Ultimately, it's running back by committee tonight, you know. I haven't seen River Mesa do too much, but every time it's kind of the unsaid things that River's doing. He's doing a lot of great blocking. K.O. on the other hand, it's probably going to be our leading rusher by the end of the night. Every time the Ventura gets an open hole, they leave this giant hole like Cato does not know how to run, and Cato's gashes them for about 10, 15 yards every single time. So as long as they can keep, Cato active, Cato keeps seeing the holes that they're there, you got to take the 10, 15 yards when you can get it.
No, it's great getting those 10, 15 yards. Now switching to the defensive side, as you mentioned, of course, they're all they've been enthusiastic. The only thing that they've been giving Father is big plays.
Yes.
What do you think they're going to change with their coverage? Maybe put some more safeties back there, maybe double cover some of the wide receivers. What do you think they're going to do?
Well, a lot of these big plays, I'll tell you right now, are blown coverage. It's miscommunication is number one. The communication level needs to increase in the defensive backfield. The linebackers are doing everything they can from their point forward. The defensive backs are going to have to start communicating to linebackers, which will push down to the linemen. Ultimately, we have seen some great plays by the defense. We saw that one incredible hit by Mike Jones where the ball popped up and they were able to recover it. Another interception by Mike Jones himself. Those, again, it's kind of going with the theme of Ventura. They play, it's a big play for them or it's a big play for us, either way on the field. So they're giving up big plays, whether it's to their wide receivers or to our quarterbacks. But if Moorpark wants to change this big play thing, they definitely have to start communicating a lot better, letting each other know who they got, what coverages, and if there's any lapses, definitely jumping on that and communicating to the other guys. Other than that, the line is doing great. We got Flack and Perriman. Extremely healthy right now. They're doing great right now. So as long as they can keep that up, I think they'll be able to hold on to it. There was a couple things I talked to Hightower. Hightower told me one of the hardest hits he had taken was by big 85 for Ventura. So they're going to have to shut him down if they want to get something going.
Yes, they have some big boys out there, of course. As we were mentioning during the broadcast, about 6'4" is the average of the wide receivers and tight ends. What type of dynamic does that give your team? Especially we see the red zone percentage, 97% percentage on scoring. What type of dynamic does that give your team when you see those big wide receivers with the defensive backs that are usually about 5'11"?
Yeah. The thing is every time he's on the field, they find a way to double team him, and when he's double teamed, they're definitely hesitant on going it his way. So as long as they keep the double team up on him, they'll be able to shut him down and keep him quiet for the most of the night.
Well, I think we're not going to have any problems running in the second half if we follow that game plan that we talked about. Thank you very much, everybody, for tuning into this halftime show. My name is Ryan Ketchum, the color commentator alongside Nathan Espinoza, field reporter. We will be back with second half coverage in the booth with me and Emery Johnson. crazy. I saw this like documentary on IMG, and they have it like college where you make your class schedule around football, around sports. Yeah, and their whole campus they have like extensive training staff as well for high school. You never see that in high school. It's crazy, and they of course travel. They travel to California. Where do they get a? Oh, the six. I thought Gavin was like going home. He had like a bag, but it's a bag of footballs. Wouldn't that suck to be told that you're going to be the owner of the game? What do you guys think of this? Yeah.
How does that sound?
There's like 50 million Westlake people here. Like a crowd. Like all of the.
They show their support WHS Pride.
It's all like the girls that are partiers. Like here's like Ali Sweet. She's like one of the girls that she's one of the six and she's something.
Yeah. It was great when the entire like cheerleading team got the same STD. Bunch of guys.
Yeah.
Buddies don't shit for you.
You would think it would be the Westlake dance team. The dance team is the premier. Like, you know how all of those old shows it's always like cheerleaders. Free? Ready for second half? Yeah, backspill in here. I know. Well, I don't like sitting down for the whole game.
No, it's just like the awkward kneeling, and then it was the
Yeah, I know. You did that. Hi. Oh, they just walked out. Yeah.
Yeah.
Two of them. Yeah.
They should be back.
After the game, we have a post-game show. So all three of us will be together. Oh yeah, up here. It'll be in this room. The three will be working.
Yeah, well,
We should have a.
dude, my Cameron game was strong, except for the parts when like every time I
I
had to
believe it was
adjust.
strong.
Every time I had to adjust, I was like, fuck. Yeah. Like every time I had to adjust my knees, I was like, oh shit, like the camera was doing this, and I was like, no. Like especially the times I had to get down, like, oh my god.
So I know I've never gotten like camera really ever cute. But this one magic.
Okay. You ready? Should I say welcome to the jungle? Hello, everybody.
High school. They're called the Jungle because they're the Panthers.
Ventura, Moorpark, or what? Newbury Park High School is gay.
It is. Oh yeah,
Sounds like a good idea to me.
their gym.
Right. Sorry, guys. Duty calls.
It's all good.
All right. 5, 4. Hello, everybody, and welcome back after the halftime. You just heard from Nathan Espinoza and Ryan Ketchum. Once again, I'm Emery Johnson alongside Ryan Ketchum. And we are returning for this halftime coverage as Ventura kicks the ball off. It's going to be going to Ray Thomas. He's going to catch the ball around the 1. We'll see if he's able to get a good return. TJ was good on the last one. He's coming towards the near sideline. He's at least getting 25 out of it, so it's going to be spotted what looks to be around the 27. Raiders have to do something different here on offense if they want to be successful.
Yes, they are going to have to pass the ball a little more. Of course, their rushing offense has been fairly good this game with how much rushing yards per game that the Pirates give up, but they do need to let it fly a little bit. Trust the wide receivers, Ryan Wilmore, Emmanuel Osachukwu, Corbin Covey. Trust them a little bit to make some plays.
Well, we have one receiver open on the near sideline, but it's going to be a run play. Looks like it's going to be going to Deshaun Francis. He's going to be in there good for a gain of what looks to be 2 or 3 on the play. It's now 2nd and 7. Still trying to establish the run game here. Hopefully that will open up the throwing.
Yes, the way to open up a throwing type style of offense is always running the ball because then the defense bites on the run and you can throw it.
It's going to be to fit Francis once again. He's going up the middle. He's in there for another gain of what looks to be 3 or 4. He's still fighting, though, and he's able to get well over a first down. Good job by him not to give up and just to continue to fight after the play. Looks like it would have been called dead, but he kept going. Raiders chasing 2 scores here, though. It's 28-14, 14-12 left on the clock. The Raiders sticking to the ground game. It's 1st and 10. Wilmore, the lone receiver on the near sideline. They stack as many people as they can on the offensive line. It's going to be a different running back this time, number 31. He's only going to get 2 yards out of it. That's okay. That's where Deshaun Francis started last series. There's Deshaun Francis, now Anthony McLean. And now they're going to send Wilmore to the far sideline. They're still going to stack as many bodies as they can. Cato's now going to be playing out of the pistol set. They've essentially isolated. It's going to be Anthony. He's still running up, fighting. He's got the first down. The offensive line, big and powerful. You had Woodard leading the block there. The Raiders establishing the run early on in this second half. They're now onto the Ventura 48-yard line.
Through Anthony McLean and Deshaun Francis' style of running, you almost see Isaiah Johnson's style of running in their games.
It's a very strong running back core. McLean, once again, he's coming towards the near sideline. He sheds 1 tackle, sheds a second. He's brought down by 2 guys. In on the tackle for Ventura, that was number 44. Malik Alatasi Hines. He's from Honolulu, Hawaii. Is in there for a gain of 4. It's 2nd and 6 now. They're going to stick with McLean. Still Wilmore on the far sideline, trying to see if they'll get any view, any looks on him. They're going to send Wilmore in motion. It's going to be McLean again. He's fighting for yards. He only gets 1, if anything, but he's going to be stopped up at the line of scrimmage. They're not going to give him anything. 3rd and now 6. And now you see the heavy receiver set take the field.
Yes, with that receiver set, it does look like they're going to pass it. Of course, with Ryan Wilmore being the only wide receiver, it seemed like the defense caught on a little bit with the Anthony McLean runs.
Nonetheless, you have Wilmore, Covey, Cade, and Emmanuel. Cato rolling out towards the near sideline. He's going to choose to run it. He continues to run. He's going to be in there with a gain of, well, it looks to be just shy of the first down. A gain of 5 on the play. It's now 4th and 1. We'll see what personnel they choose. And they are not going to go for, well, you know, this is kind of that no zone. You can't really do anything. You punt it, you place them inside the 10. Okay, that's fine. But they still have Wilmore on the near sideline. They have him out of pistol. They hand it off to Anthony. He's running up. Oh, and they gave him the first down. Excuse me, they gave him the first down on the last set, so nonetheless, that's why the personnel was all mixed up there on that last setup. Now 2nd and 1, long run by Anthony there.
And with this big personnel, you almost see there's just amazing blocking. There's no way that this defensive line can break through.
And they're throwing way over, and Ryan Wilmore once again with a one-handed catch. He's still running down to the 2-yard line. Holy cow, what a run by him. Talking about yards after reception, Ryan Wilmore. He seems to have his beautiful moments, and they just caught the defense completely by surprise. He's been targeted only twice tonight, and he was just able to bring that ball down. Cato out of the gun this time. They hand it off to McLean. McLean fighting for a hole, and there's going to be a pile pushing. That's going to be a gain of 2 on the play.
Going back to that Wilmore catch, when you're a wide receiver, sometimes you need to sacrifice your body to be able to jump and grab the ball. It seemed like Ryan Wilmore did not care what happened to him as long as he jumped up, gave it his full effort, reached out with that one hand, and great catch.
You have Asachukwu now on the one-on-one coverage. They're going to choose to give it Anthony once again. Let's see what they call here. It's based on the spot of the ball. It's going to be 3rd and now 1. So 2nd and 2, now 3rd and 1. They're just getting 1 yard at a time. Any way you can do it, I guess. The heavy set on offensive line. It's quarterback keeper Cato Brown, and he's into the end zone. That's a touchdown for the Raiders. They get one back here. 28 to now 20. That was a huge play.
Yes, it was. And going into halftime, without actually getting that score, they were unable to set up for the field goal kick in time. But without getting a score, you didn't think that there would be as much momentum coming in to this start of the second half. But right now, a touchdown, great momentum booster for this team.
Gavin Todd, it's up through the uprights. 9:54 left to play in the clock here in the 3rd quarter. So you have Cato run into the end zone. You have Ryan Wilmore make the insane one-handed catch. The Raiders are now 1 score away from tying this ball game. This is by no means over, ladies and gentlemen. They just want you to think it is. If you listen to any Ventura fan, they're going to try and down-talk it as much as possible. They really do think they're better than Moorpark, but little do they understand what this rivalry actually means. And I think that's the big understatement is Ventura really thinks they're going to come in here and walk over the Raiders, and Raiders have done completely the opposite and kept it a very tight game here.
Yes, and through that whole entire drive, you saw that big formation. It was almost a jumbo formation. They had the fullback in. They had a 2 tight end set, only 1 wide receiver. They were able to just control that line of scrimmage. That is what they needed to do. The first half running was a little spotty on gains, but that whole drive, gain after gain after gain.
We'll see what they choose to do here. Now it's up to the Ventura offense to keep the Raiders defense off guard. It's going to be a high and end-over-end kick. The returner, number 23, he's going to be all alone out towards the far sideline. It's only going to be a couple Raiders in pursuit, but he's going to work down with a great kickoff return down to the 43-yard line. Ray Thomas, the man in pursuit to push him out of bounds. The Raiders did a good job of recovering after what could have been a great blocked return. So we're going to see Jake Luton take the field with his team. He had quite a throwing game here in the first half, though he did throw 2 interceptions. The Raiders need to make that kind of effort again. They need to stop this Ventura offense. Luton hands it off. And what a running play here we have coming up. Looks to be number 22. So they're getting their main man back into action. It's Isaiah Brown. You saw him a little bit silent there in the first half. He's been a little bit shaken up in past weeks, but he looks like he's ready to run again.
And Isaiah Brown is very similar to Isaiah Johnson of Moorpark. Both of them are 6 foot and around 211 pounds.
And you saw the pass attempted over there to number 4. It's Cam Taylor. He's their number 1 receiver over here for Ventura. He did not get his hands around the ball. 9:20 left on the clock. Ventura has driven down to the Raiders what looks to be 32-yard line. Luton looking for the delayed snap count. He still has Isaiah Brown next to him. Switches sides. They hands it off to Brown. Brown trying to find a hole. He does. He's tripped up. That's number 28 on the tackle for the Raiders. Christian Rivers. So the Pirates just shy of a first down. It's now 3rd and 1. They're wasting no time driving down the field. 8:55 on the clock. Raiders have to do all they can to keep this as close as possible. It's still a 1-score game, possibly 2 after this drive. We'll see how things turn up. And the ball's going to be dropped and picked up by the Raiders. It is a dropped ball. I don't think Walton had any idea, Luton had any idea where he was going with that thing, and it was picked up by the Raiders defense. The big mistakes here being very costly for Ventura, the Raiders offense coming onto the field.
Yes, and that was Blake Heron, number 32 on that play. He was able to pick up that fumble, but it was not too surprising that the Pirates had a little bit of miscommunication on a 3rd down. Their 3rd down conversion percentage this season is 42%. So not very high. It is high in the 3C2A, but 42%, that's not even a 50-50 chance that you're going to be able to complete it. Just a little bit of miscommunication, but great play by the Raiders defense.
So you're looking at basically 22 personnel. It's going to be back to McLean. He's going to be in there for a run, but it doesn't look like he's going to gain anything out of it. Raiders trying to come out here with the same run set that they had before, but that was initially picked up by the Pirate defense. They're going back with their regular wideout spread. You got Wilmore on the far sideline, Covey on the on the bunch set. You have Cade Schmitz. He's in out of the slot. On the near sideline, you have Emmanuel Osachukwu on the near sideline. Cato rolling out to the near sideline, finds Osachukwu, but it's going to be tipped off of his hands and out of bounds. Now 3rd and 10. We'll see what they choose to do here. The Raiders were not able to get any first downs off of most of their turnovers, so they need to change that up if they want to be successful. When you get those lucky breaks, you have to take advantage of them.
And usually with those lucky breaks, it gives you a little extra push to be able to march down the field. Of course, they don't need an extra push since this is a rivalry game, but it just gives you a little extra motivation to run down the field and score.
Playing trips left here, all 3 receivers on the left-hand side. Cato rolling out. He hits. That's Ray Thomas on the near sideline. He's finding lane. He's the fast man, and he just got hit and knocked down. But that's a first down for the Raiders. There you go. They're starting to drive, but Ray bounced off the DB when he hit him. That was an interesting look. I'm sure it looked great on high definition on YouTube, where you guys are viewing the game.
Yes,
but a good job by Thomas.
That was. Looking
at the sideline and just staying tight down the sideline. Referee's going to stop. Still the clock running, 7:37. 14 seconds on the play clock. Cato has his 4 wideout spread. This will be quarterback keeper. Cato up the center. He's got a gain of 1 on the play. It's 2nd and now 9. We'll see how the Raiders choose to work their personnel. Last time it was out of a trips formation to the left, and you saw Ray Thomas come out of the backfield, and he was able to come out onto the flat and make that play down the near sideline. We'll see what they choose to do here. There's no running back in on this set. Wilmore on the outside. We'll see if Cato targets him. He's looking. He misses his reading. He's going to be sacked. And there you go. Ventura showing what their strength is. Or, excuse me, lack thereof strength, but they were able to get lucky. That brings up actually to 9 sacks on the season.
Yes. And that play, it almost looked like the Moorpark offensive line didn't even see those defensive the defensive ends coming in. They just kind of let them have a free lane towards Cato.
Cato puts Covey in motion. Takes a snap back, looking across the flat. Chooses to jump in. And he throws into the ground, but there was a receiver in the area, at least somewhat close. The ball was tipped, so they're going to choose to just call it incomplete nonetheless. Evan Benson headed out onto the field. The Raiders go 3 and out after getting that nice first down. But nonetheless, it gives him good punting position. Last time, a couple times when you see the Ventura Pirates turn the ball over, they would end up just on like the 1 yard line or the 5 yard line. And it would seem like the Raiders wouldn't go anywhere and they'd have to from their own end zone, giving you a dangerous field position. Benson standing from his own 25. They have Crumble. And they choose the trick play, and it's River Mesa with the ball. He's running towards the sideline. He's still fighting. He's still pushing. It's going to be a turnover on downs.
Yes, that was a tricky play right there to River Mesa, but it almost looked like if River would have cut back towards the middle of the field, he would have had an extra blocker. A little bit of a case that TJ Newborn had where he was a little too fast for the blockers. He was right there, River Mesa, a little too fast. If he would have slowed down, cut back to the left, he possibly could have got a first down because he would have had a blocker in front of him.
So Ventura, had they not gotten the sack there, that probably would have been a first down, to be fair to the Raiders. River Mesa did make a good move. 6:15 left on the clock. You're going to see Luton with this 4 wide out spread. They haven't broken from it yet this game, and they're going to choose to hand it off. And that's going to be Noah Segrist up the near sideline and get a gain of 5. Excuse me, it's a gain of 4, 2nd and 6. He's up to the 47, 5:55 left on the clock. Now they're going to go with the trips right formation. Luton fires across the flat, and he hits Segrist, who's up the near sideline, now deep into Raider territory around the 35. Raiders have to come up big here on defense. Luton, the pocket, fires, trying to hit his receiver, and they're going to call it a reception. And they do. They hit their number 1 receiver. That's number 4, Cam Taylor. And he's down inside the red zone. Ventura driving. Raiders defense has to do something desperately here, or else it's going to be another 2-score game with their last drive.
Yes, and they will need a desperate effort, especially as we've been talking about this red zone offense for the Pirates. They do have their big wide receivers, especially that 6'6" wide receiver, number 17, Brandon Jordan, in the game in the slot.
So you have Jordan on the slot. Luton takes snap. He's going to be firing. Once again, the ball is going to be dropped. Intended receiver, number 4, Cam Taylor. He is their number 1 targeted receiver. No surprise. He was the man they're going for, but obviously, like you said, they're going to be going for Brandon Jordan. Jordan's still on the slot. They have Isaiah Brown in the slot. Taylor on the near sideline, but it looks like Luton is going to be trying to find the end zone. And that's going to be thrown in complete 4th down. 4th and 10, we'll see what they choose to do here. And why not Ventura hasn't chosen to kick the ball at all. They still want to try and find the end zone or a first down here. It's 1st and 10 from the Raiders 19, 4:56 left to play in the third quarter. If you give up the 4th down, it ends up being an okay field position for your defense. You see Isaiah Johnson walking around on the Raiders sideline with his helmet, so he possibly could be getting into the action sooner than later. Luton in the pocket, has time, fires over the center. He hits his tight end. Is that enough for a first down? They're going to mark it with the first down. So the scoreboard had it wrong. They said it was 4th down and 10. It was actually 3rd and 10. Why you never trust the scoreboard. I've been preaching it my whole life. They're going to go for it on 4th down here. Why not? They hand it off to Isaiah, and he's going to be up the center and into the end zone. It's a touchdown for Ventura. They're again ahead by 2 scores. It's 34-21. The Raiders have to do something desperately to try and change this game.
They had some great defense, the Moorpark Raiders, when Ventura was at the 19-yard line. They were able to stop them on the first 2 downs. But right when they had that pass down the middle, it just tore up their defense. And that last play, great blocking by the Pirates, but the linebacker core of the Raiders were not present in the middle of the field. That allowed that run.
The kick is up and good, so it's going to be a 2-score game once again. Raiders offense stuttered, so did the defense. Problems on all ends for the Raiders, still continuing basically where they left off in the second quarter.
Yes, and a big blow was when they were unable to score from that Brett Herron fumble recovery. If they would have been able to score there, there was no stopping that Raider offense, and that defense would have just got so pumped up to be able to play and make sure that the Raider offense gets back on the field.
So your men that you're used to seeing out there, despite DJ Farmer, but it's TJ Newborn and Ray Thomas. That should be offsides. It's not going to be called offsides, but the Raiders essentially take a onside kick there.
It seemed like that onside kick, they were almost trying to do what a lot of Division I college teams are doing now. If you've been watching basically any Division I college football game, you would have seen those kickoff, the onside kicks. They bounce it over the front line of the special teams, and then it bounces once. They recover it and take it back for a touchdown.
Cato out of the gun, hands it up to Isaiah Johnson. This is his first run of the game, but it's a quarterback keeper. I was completely off on that one, and Cato Brown up the near sideline, finally pushed out of bounds, has a first down out to the Ventura 45-yard line. I was completely sold on the fact that Isaiah Johnson had the ball, and so was the Ventura defense for that matter. They did not expect that one.
That is a dynamic that it gives the Raiders it gives the Raiders offense when they have a guy like Isaiah Johnson in the backfield. The Pirates defense pays so much attention to them that Cato was able to get a big gain.
It looks like the officials have called a timeout here. Trainer's looking at Osachukwu. I don't know why. Didn't see him go down, but they're going to be talking to him anyways on the sideline. But now you have a bunch set on the near sideline. TJ Newborn, the replacement wide receiver. You have Ryan Wilmore all the way out there on the far sideline on his own. Cato fakes a handoff once again. He's running forward, and he dives forward. It's a gain of almost 5, and they're going to mark it with a gain of 5. Second and now 5 from the Ventura 40-yard line. 3 minutes and 45 seconds left on the clock in the third quarter.
Looked like they might have had a little bit of miscommunication because Corbin Covey and TJ Newborn did not block their respected defensive backs, and Cato basically ran right into them.
Bunch set once again. They send Johnson in motion. So they're going to have 4 receivers. They throw to Johnson on the flat. Johnson working his way to the near sideline, but he's going to be wrapped up around the knees to the 42. Excuse me, the 38-yard line. There's going to be a flag on the play. We'll see what they choose to call here. Without the penalty, it's now 3rd and 4. Or 3rd and 3. Respectively, we'll see what happens here. So it's going to be a holding call against the bunch set there. I'm not sure who actually committed the hold. 10-yard penalty sending it back. It's now 2nd and 13. So they get the down back, 2nd and 14. So I called it originally. Again, don't look at the scoreboard.
This will be a big 2nd down. If they are able to get back to that 3rd down, they are having a 3rd down conversion percentage of 30% on the season.
Send Johnson in motion. It's a bunch set on the far sideline. Cato. Looks like a false start against the offense. So another 5 yards against the Raider offense. That's the thing. They cannot commit these penalties because that's what's going to kill them.
Well, I was a field reporter in last game. Speaking about penalties killing them, all of last game the coaches said that they killed themselves, and that's what they're doing right here on this drive.
They want to make any difference, they have to change that. Wilmore all alone on the near sideline. Cato out of the gun, takes a snap back. They hand it off to Johnson. Johnson with the ball this time. He's going to be in there for a gain of a couple yards. Looks to be only a gain of roughly 5. Now 2nd and 4, so they'll go back to where they were before the last penalty. So you have Ryan Wilmore on the near sideline. River Mays is taking over as the feature back. Cade Schmitz, he's out of the slot. Covey out of the slot. And you have Newborn. We're going to send Covey into motion. He's going to be bunched up with Cade and Ryan. Cato looking downfield, fires way down, and Ryan wasn't in the area at all. Evan Benson out on the field. We'll see if he can essentially pin the Ventura kick returner inside. Sean Crumby had the dropped ball earlier in the game. Low snap. Benson gets it off in time. It's headed out towards the far sideline. Crumby takes the ball. It's not going to be a fair catch. He's going to choose to run. Stutters a little bit. He's out to the 20, 21-yard line. And he's down. He just falls down. Didn't look like he wanted to run that ball into anybody at all. And it's the Raiders defense to take over here. 1:56 left on the clock. The Raiders down by 2 scores. They have to do something here. Possibly a pick 6, but it needs to be a turnover.
It's very strange seeing Crumby run because when you're taught to be a kick returner or a punt returner, you're taught that right when you catch the ball, you survey the field for about 1 second, or you know, it's a quick survey of the field, then you run to one of the sidelines. You run to the far sideline or you run to the near sideline and follow your blockers. It seems like he hesitates too much when he runs.
1:56 left on the clock. They send a receiver in motion. They're going to throw across the flat. That's number 23 for Ventura. Haven't seen much of Tanner Gee. He's one of their other running backs, number 23. He's actually down on the depth chart. Doesn't get many carries. Nonetheless, a gain of 5 on the play, 2nd and 5. Luton, bunch of running backs behind him, and that's going to be a running play. That's Isaiah Brown. And he's in there with the first down. He's their feature back. And there's going to be a Raider down on the field. We'll see who it is. He's still moving, so that's always a good sign. They're going to bring the trainers onto the field. We're going to step away for a moment. We'll return after this injury timeout.
It is hot with these things on. It must be, yeah, you're sitting on a stool. Oh, yeah, true. We are now back with 1 minute 27 seconds left in the third quarter of action, 35-21. The Pirates still winning this matchup. The player that was down on the field, he is okay though, which is a great sign. Ludden is in the shotgun position, handoff to his running back. That was number 22, Isaiah Brown, who we have not seen too much tonight. He gets a fairly good gain, but Jesse Landman, number 54, star middle linebacker for the Moorpark Raiders, is down on the field with another injury. We'll be right back after this injury timeout. Two back-to-back injuries. Landman's good. Maybe we're trying to get some outside feed. Landman has he's got 54 tackles. That's a lot, right? You're back? Oh, yeah. Landman went down with the injury just right now. So we were in injury timeout. We're still muted.
All right, return back here after the Landman injury timeout. Hopefully he's okay. Luton takes snap back, going to fire across the flat. He's hitting receiver. They've been really well out of the flats tonight. He's number 3. Brian Burt is their other running back. That's going to be good for a first down. Ventura driving down the field. 57 seconds left on the third quarter. The Raiders running out of time here. They have to make up some points.
And another first down, which their first downs on the season, they're second overall in the 3C2A with 184 first downs on the season.
Luton in the pocket, has time, fires, and he hits him. It's number 2, the receiver, Elijah Alexander. He's down to the Raiders' 23-yard line. The Raiders are in trouble here. Cannot give up another score, else this game might be getting way out of reach.
Elijah Alexander, he's one of their speed wide receivers, very small wide receiver compared to their others, 5'9", 185 pounds. He does have, excuse me, that's actually 5'9", 181 pounds. He does have a lot of muscle on him, though.
Luton takes a snap, hands it off. It's going back to Brian Burt. He's got another first down. It's just one play, one first down. 15 seconds left in the third quarter. Raiders running out of time. They cannot give up another score here. Luton fakes a handoff, rolling out to the near side. He finds his receiver, but he falls over. He was furious about that one. That was Elijah Alexander. Only gets a gain of 7 on the play. And that's going to be the end of the third quarter. So we're going to hop away. Hopefully you stay there. We'll return with the rest of the game after this.
still be alive. You like sitting there for the rest of your life, not being on. Oh, Vance is down there. Saw his who's number 11? The guy with the red shirt. Who's our red shirt? Yeah. Frank Kaminsky. From the Charlotte Bobcats. 7-foot center.
And we're back. And we're back here, ladies and gentlemen. It's the start of the fourth quarter. Pirates 35, Moorpark 21. They have to stop the ball here. Ventura driving down the field. It's now 2nd and 3. They're inside the red zone. Luton, very successful in the red zone. Pass incomplete. Luton throwing way towards the far sideline into the end zone, but it was just overthrown under tight coverage.
That was great
3rd and
coverage.
3. Go ahead.
That was Mike Jones actually on that coverage. 6'1", 185-pound defensive back. Pretty good size defensive back and great athleticism to make sure that one doesn't get caught.
Luton back beside him. It's going to be Brian Burt. They have their 3 wideouts spread here. Extra man inside the box on the offensive line. And Burt sheds a tackle, almost caught way deep behind the line of scrimmage. And wow, he was taken out by his own man. That was number 6, who actually laid out his own player. Kendrick Malloy. I don't know what he was doing there, but he laid down, and it looks like Brian Burt is shaken up after the play. They're going to have the kicker out onto the field for here for Ventura.
The Raiders definitely love that assist that they got there from the Pirates.
It's going to work out to be a 33-yard attempt, 14-16. Still going to make it a three-score difference here. The kick is up, and it is no good. So the Raiders catch a big break here. You can see why they don't want their kicker to go out on the field. They usually go for it on 4th down, and why not? Because if he's missing 33-yard field goals, not much you can do with that. That's the job of a kicker.
And speaking about that, 62% on the 4th down conversions they have on the season. With the red zone, they have 29 attempts, and 26 of them they have touchdowns, only 2 with field goals.
Wow. One more on the near sideline. They put Covey in motion. You have Osachukwu on the far sideline. No, excuse me, that's TJ Newborn. They hand it off to Johnson. Johnson, he's finding a lane. He's running. He's back, and Isaiah Johnson makes an impact here. A huge impact late in the game. 14 minutes left in the game here. Isaiah Johnson back on the field. He's trying to make an impact here.
And with Isaiah Johnson, he's just a downhill runner. Even if the blocking is not great, the blocking wasn't amazing on that play, he still makes something happen.
The defense moved a little bit. Isaiah Johnson gets the ball again. He's in there for a gain of 4. Or a gain of 3. That's where they're going to call it. I thought he got up to the 40. 13:28, the clock running down. That is the huge factor. The Raiders have to be big on defense. They force the 4th down inside of the red zone. That's going to hurt Ventura quite a bit. The Raiders are able to get rolling here. Cato Brown out of the gun, has 4 receivers. Wilmore on the near sideline. He's got Covey in the slot. He has Cade in the slot and Emmanuel Osachukwu on the far sideline. And Cato's going to be hit by a multiplicity of Ventura defensive linemen. That's going to be a loss of yards on the play. He's losing 8. Can't lose yards like that. It's now 3rd and 14. Raiders struggling here on offense. Isaiah Johnson still out on the field. Once again, you're going to have Wilmore on the near sideline. Covey in the slot. Osachukwu, no. Keep messing that up. Newman on the far sideline. Covey in motion. Cato takes a snap back. He's under pressure. Fires, hits Isaiah Johnson. Johnson comes back in. He's got a lane. He's out to the 50, and he's just tripped up and knocked down, but he got the first down. The Raiders are driving again. It's 49 on the 49-yard line of Ventura College. 12 minutes and 16 seconds. That just erased the huge deficit yardage that Ventura had forced. That's what happens when someone brings the blitz. It's just short passes, and he left Isaiah Johnson with a lot of room to run there. What a good job by the Raiders offense.
And great recognition by Isaiah Johnson, number 77, Mason Knight, a 6'5", 311-pound offensive and defensive lineman, was trying to catch him. He recognized the size difference, cut back, and that led to the big gain.
Ryan Milmore, sole receiver. They hand it off to Johnson again. Johnson finally landed on the inside, and he's blocked low. It was Richard Lavelle for Ventura. Nonetheless, a gain of 6 on the play, 2nd and 4. Cade Schmidt's on the field where Ryan Wilmore was. He's on the near sideline. They're still running out of this multiple-man set. Essentially, Ventura, all they have to do is stack the box. We'll see what they do here. Cato hands it off to Johnson again. Johnson anticipates the blocks, and he finds a hole again, and he's got the first down. He's up to the 36-yard line. 11:15 on the clock. Pirates 35, Raiders 21. 1st and 10 from the Pirates' 37-yard line. Cade, the sole receiver here on the near sideline. They hand it off once again. This is River Mason. What a nasty tackle that was.
Luckily, River Mason was not injured on the play. When you see a tackle like that, it almost looked like the defensive end wrapped him up by his leg and twisted his leg. When you see tackles like that, usually you see injuries that also are apparent with the knee, but
That's
luckily for us,
it's
it
a
didn't
very
happen.
dangerous tackle style. Usually guys tear
Yes.
ACLs when they get tackled like that, and I really dislike that. I feel like that is, it's something that you're supposed to wrap up the running back, but you see the guys, they grab and then they just spin, and it's a very violent style of tackling. People who play football might be yelling at me across the internet right now, and I'll take all of it. I don't care. Give me what you got.
Yes, but
Tweet at me.
Tweet
at me. E_Johnson_PBP. Find that. Tweet at me. We'll have a long, drawn-out discussion on whether or not tackling style should be modified here in the NFL and college football. I'm just messing with you guys. I hope you enjoy our streams brought to you by Moorpark College Athletics and the Moorpark Film TV Media Department. Most importantly, Michael Grimes. He's the head in charge of most of our broadcasts and streams. He's the one who set us up with this beautiful setup we have here. So the Ventura player is up and walking off. It's number 31, one of their defensive backs. Darian McIntyre, he's the linebacker. Excuse me, I got that one wrong. I'm just making all kinds of calls here.
But you did have a good point about the tackling. The tackling, you're taught to go low. You're taught to tackle for the legs, because if you take out the legs, then they don't have anything, to run with anymore. But when you see the twisting type tackles, that's where it gets a little shaky.
So you have Newborn on the near sideline, Covey out of the slot, and you have the sole Cade Schmitz out on the far sideline. 10:41 left on the clock. You have a delayed snap count. 28 on the play clock. Hasn't really been much of a factor. Only one delay of game called. They're going to choose to run it here, and that's Ray Thomas up the near sideline. He's going to have enough for what looks to be a first down. Good run by him. He just identified where the hole was opening up, and he just shot straight through it. Good job by him identifying where that was going to open up to, and you have Ryan Wilmore back onto the field.
Yes, with Ray Thomas, when you're in that running back position, you see a hole, you have to burst through it as much as possible. And you saw Ray Thomas, he just had a head full of steam in front of him to be able to go through. When there is not a hole, that's when it gets a little tricky, and that's when you need to make something happen.
21 personnel. Ray Thomas sheds a block, but he's going to be hit almost immediately at the line of scrimmage. There's going to be a flag down. We'll see what that ends up being called as.
It looks like that penalty could possibly be face mask penalty because you did see when Ray Thomas, he was able to juke move around one of the defensive linemen, and when he juke moved around one of the defensive linemen, he went right underneath his arm. So he could have grabbed that face mask, and yes, he did.
Yeah, there you go. Good identification. There you go, Ryan Ketchup, my main man, sitting right next to me. Good job to catch that. I didn't see the face mask, but I did see him get jerked down pretty violently, so it was only fair to assume. Makes a call. It's a 15-yard penalty. The Raiders driving down into the red zone. They need to score here. 9:57 left on the clock. You have Wilmore out on the far sideline. Sole receiver, they hand it off to Johnson. Johnson in again, and he's driving down the field. We'll see. It always gets dicey there in the middle. You can never count Johnson out, and they have the first down to the 4-yard line. The Raiders are really driving here, and you still have Wilmore on the far sideline, possibly a target. You never know. He's on that one-on-one coverage. We'll see if he can make a move. Nonetheless, Cato's going to be out of the pistol set. It's 21 personnel. They hand it off to Johnson. Johnson shooting for that hole, and he's going to be stopped up at the line of scrimmage. But he's going to fall forward for a gain of 3. 2nd and now 2 from the goal.
As you were mentioning, with the style of running that Isaiah Johnson possesses, it's hard to tell when he's actually on the ground. It's hard to tell when he actually got tackled because in the middle of the pile, he just continues to push.
Isaiah Johnson bounces off the pile, and he's into the end zone. It's a touchdown. Moorpark Raiders. There you have it. We'll see what they call, but I want to call a touchdown. They're going to call him short of the goal line. I think that's a bad spot by the referees there. You heard it during the halftime show. They called it short. They called it long when Ventura was at the goal line. Now they're going to call it short. I'm sure you guys think I'm a joke now. And all the men forward. Johnson in the middle. And he's hit behind the line of scrimmage, and they're just trying to run it. The Raiders coaching staff is upset right now. We'll see what they choose to do here. But they are upset about something, and I don't know what has been called. Did you see anything?
It almost looked like Cato Brown actually did a fake handoff to Isaiah Johnson and ran it in himself. At least that's what it looked like from my view, but the refs did not call it as a touchdown, so it seems like the coaches were a little bit upset because they all had a number 1 pointing up, meaning they were going to have a 1-point conversion for the extra point after the touchdown.
So 4th and 2, Gavin Todd, he's going to kick the field goal here. But I don't know what's going on. So Cato Brown ran it in. The referees didn't even call for a touchdown. This is the most interesting just line of events to come up here. This referee crew has been very poor tonight. That was the case last week, too, if you guys were with us.
Yes, it did seem like, of course, usually the announcers, us, or the players, the defenders, everybody, they might miss a call or with a fake, with Isaiah Johnson getting the fake handoff, but usually you don't see the refs getting faked out. Usually the refs always know where the ball is, and with Cato Brown running straight up the middle on that last play, they were just paying attention to Isaiah Johnson.
So I've been saying it all season, don't count the Raiders out. They are big in the 4th quarter. 8:20 left to play on the clock. Pirates 35, Raiders 28. It'll be interesting to see what the defense can do here. Gavin Todd getting ready and set to kick the ball off. You have the kick returner, Vashon Crumble, out to take the kick from Todd. He's been good so far tonight. It almost seemed like he was getting ready to go for a touchdown run, I believe, on his last return. 8:35 is where the referees wanted the clock to be reset to. Gavin getting set for the kickoff. Gavin chooses to kick a soft little football out of bounds, and they're going to call the flag on it. So it's going to go up to the 35, 10-yard penalty. I don't know what the design was on that kick.
You would think that they would want to kick it to the return men, since we have not seen too many big kickoff returns or punt returns. Of course, the last one was big, but we have not seen too many of those big returns in this game. So you would think that this kicker, Gavin Todd, would want to kick it to the return men instead of just getting the ball at the 35-yard line where that defense sets up.
So Luton takes over on his own 35. We'll see what he can do here. He has 3 receivers to his left, and they choose to hand it off. It's going to be Isaiah Brown. He's going to break 1 tackle, breaks 2, and he continues to run after contact. It's a gain of 8 all the way up to the 40, well, it looks to be 3-yard line. 2nd and now 8. And they're going to give him a generous spot there. I don't think it should have been spotted nearly that far. So there's a gain of 9 on the play. Still 3 receivers to the left, 1 to the right. They're going to try and catch him on the big play, most likely. They hands it off to Isaiah Brown. He's got a blocker, and he's going to be hit and brought down. He's down to the Raiders' territory. He's on the 43. Excuse me, the 47.
We have seen this too much tonight. It looked like Isaiah Brown was also too fast for his blockers. There was a blocker right in front of him, but he outran the blocker and was tackled almost immediately.
So 7:57 left on the clock. We've got an injury timeout. We're going to step away while they address the injured player on the field.
They did get a touchdown, but they nobody wanted this or anything. They were all focused on my dad.
So did they give them the touchdown?
Yeah, they gave them the touchdown. Yeah. They got the touchdown, but it was.
I was like, what happened?
How do you miss the ball when you're that close?
That was pretty bad. That was pretty bad. Okay, we're back here after the injury timeout. The player got up and ran off the field, so he's most likely okay here. 3 receivers to the right, 1 to the left. Luton has his back beside him. Looking downfield, surveying. Does he find him? No, he does not. Cam Taylor looking for a flag there, but he's not going to be appeased by the referee. There was no contact. He just had to move around the DB, but wasn't able to get space. 7:47 left to play on the clock. It's now 2nd and 10 from the Raiders. 46-yard line is where they're going to spot where they spotted the ball after the run from Isaiah Brown. Luton looking across the flat. No, fires across the center. They hit their tall wide receiver. That's number 17, Brandon Jordan. I'm still telling you, I believe he should be considered a tight end. There's no reason why a guy that big. I don't know. Tall people can be receivers too.
Well, being 6'6", usually that's a tight end height, but at least with his weight, 215 at a 6'6" frame, that's not, I guess, tight end material, you would say.
Normally tight ends around 250. Luton looking downfield. He has his receiver open, and it's a touchdown. Just pushed off at the right moment. It was Kendrick Malloy. And Pirates securing this 2-score lead. They do not want to let up against the Raiders. Why would they?
Because especially with what they're going to be, both these teams are going to be getting after the game, whoever wins that Citrus Cup, they want to run up the score on these rivals as much as possible.
7:25 left on the clock. Don't count the Raiders out, though. They have pulled off bigger comebacks than this. The kick is up and good. So for whatever reason, their kicker can kick point afters, but he cannot kick field goals.
Yes, and that's the reason why they always go for that touchdown on the 4th down conversion instead of kick the field goal. Seems like the Moorpark Raiders, they just need to tighten up on that defense, meaning the secondary. They need to be able to tighten up, not follow the wide receivers, but stay with them. It seems like they're following the wide receivers too much instead of always being stride for stride with them and contesting that ball when it comes to them.
Interesting enough, the pressure that was there against Luton. It wasn't like he didn't have any pressure on him. He just made the right throw at the right time. The DBs have their work cut out for them. But the Raiders, they will not have a lot of time to make up these points here. Down 14, 7:25 left in the fourth quarter. And the kick is up, and it's going to be a low, almost like a squib, but it's going to be like a pooch. Ray Thomas takes the kick. He's up the middle hash. He's going to be running up to the 25, and he's going to be down around the 26. So it's crunch time here in 2-minute drill for the Raiders offense. Defense not able to come up with a stop there.
They really need to be able to have a defensive stop here. Of course, they need to score first, but this whole entire second half, it's been Moorpark score, then Raiders score.
This is even a situation where if the Raiders do score, you will see an onside kick. They have bunch receivers, stacked. Wilmore stacked behind would be Cade Schmitz, and you have TJ stacked behind. Well, nobody. Cato Brown, he keeps the ball, and he's going to be running up good for a gain of 7. 7:10 left on the clock. Raiders now down to the 33-yard line. Second and now 3. 7:01 on the clock now. Newborn and Covey, they're going to be on the near sideline. You have Ryan Wilmore and Cade Schmitz on the far sideline. Wilmore now in motion. Cato takes a snap back, hand off to Johnson. Johnson sheds one block, sheds two. He's being hit by everybody, and he's going to be marked down at the 30. And there is a tussle right there after the play was called dead. I don't know why the referees didn't call a penalty.
Usually you do see a penalty being called on the defense on those type of plays after you see a tackle for loss. Usually the defenders like to jaw at that running back or the wide receiver, whoever they tackle. But as you said, no penalty.
Because they can call or they can plead to the fact that they were in motion and they were just following the tackle. But when that many guys are walking forward, I don't know why they wouldn't have a flag for continuing the tackle after the play was called dead. Nonetheless, you have receivers on the inside and outside. Wilmore, low snap. Cato does his best to jump on it, and he's tripped up and falls down. It's now going to be a 4th down. Raiders running out of time, 5:49.
That does mark the Pirates' 10th sack of the season. Of course, not really a strong defensive line, but they were able to catch Cato with a bad snap and a fumble of the ball.
5:36 on the clock. If they're going to be punting the ball here, it's most likely watch out for the fake here.
Yes, we did see a fake earlier on.
The Raiders are definitely running out of time. I don't know why they would actually punt the ball. Tough situation nonetheless. And Benson does choose to punt it off, and there's no fair catch called. The ball's going to roll all the way down to the, well, it looks to be 17 or 18. So 5:03, the Raiders have to stop here, score, then kick onside, recover the onside, and then score again. Needless to say, they have their work cut out for them, and Luton not being relentless. Excuse me, he's being relentless. And we'll see where they choose to mark the ball. They're going to mark it where it originally, where I thought, touched the feet of a Raider. Now at the 24-yard line. Nonetheless, a great punt by Evan Benson. It's the secondary of the Raiders that is going to have to step in big here. It's where all the big plays have been coming from. Luton, he's going to be playing out of the gun, takes a snap back, and they're going to hand it off. It's time to kill clock here, and the Raiders are going to have a tackle for loss. 4:54 on the clock now.
After you see a tackle for loss, of course, the Pirates want to run the ball, but when you see a tackle for loss like that, and with how well they have been passing the ball, meaning the Pirates, don't be too surprised if you see some deep throws, deep balls thrown, even though it only has 4 minutes, 30 seconds left.
They're going to have 2 receivers to the right, 1 to the left. They send their bunch receiver in motion. It's a tight end. And it's going to be a throwing play. Luton looking, but he's going to be hit and brought down. The Raiders come up with their first sack of the game. And there you go. And on top of him was Jordan Flack, or excuse me, no, not Jordan Flack. It was James Perryman. As well as number 78 on the tackle. Excuse me, number 79, Richard Watkins. 3rd and really long here, so the Raiders' defense being very strong. 4:17 left on the clock. We're going to step away for this timeout. We'll return after they come back onto the field. Force turnover, score touchdown. Kick off, force another turnover, score touchdown. Kick off to drop the ball. Pick it up in special teams.
They're going to throw it deep on this play. Yup. They're probably going to convert it. Where at? The middle back.
We're back here after that long timeout. Ventura probably going to throw here. Why not? They've done it on most 3rd down situations anyways, and they've gone really long down the field. Raiders defense has to come up big here. 3rd and long. Luton takes snap, looking across, and he hits his running back. That was number 23. Excuse me, number 22, Isaiah Brown. He normally has true hands, and that was incomplete. It's going to be a punt now. TJ Newborn out on the field, looking for a long return.
And the good thing with that play is the clock automatically stops.
Yeah, they still get 4:14. Pirates 42, Raiders 28. They have to score here. And it's a high snap. The punter just barely gets it off. We'll see where the ball lands, and it's going to take a VC bounce down to the Raider 45, just barely. Wow, that was a bad snap there.
I thought that was going to be a situation like Michigan versus Michigan State, not the game this morning, but the game last year when they had that punt where Michigan State was able to block it for a touchdown. That's what I thought was going to happen because there were 6 Raiders all surrounding that punter, but the punter was able to get the kickoff.
So the Raiders going to take over the field on their own 44. It will be interesting to see how they choose to attack this year. It's all 2-minute drill from here on out. The Raiders offense has to be strong. You have Wilmore on the near sideline, TJ Newborn on the slot. You have Cade Schmitz on the slot on the outside, and then you have Corbin Covey. Cato rolling out to the far sideline. He's going to choose to throw into double coverage, and that ball is intercepted. And they're going to mark him down, way downfield. Cato Brown throws his first interception of this game. 3:55 left on the clock. The defense back out on the field. Essentially just trade field position twice.
That was Vashon Crumby on the interception, number 1 from IMG Academy, 6'2", 195-pound defensive back. It seems like those passing plays, those deep passing plays late in the game would be a little more difficult, especially since E-Man, Emmanuel Osachukwu, number 14, is not on the field for that play.
Yeah, we're thinking he might be ruled out for the rest of the game. It'll depend on how he is going to attack this. But 3:55, the Raiders definitely running out of time here. The ball's going to be spotted on the 20-yard line. Luton gets another chance to lead his team on the field. Defense, again, tasked with a lot of work to make up. And it's most likely just going to be running the ball here. Work down the clock. Play is going to be called dead. We'll see what happens here. They're just going to run down 3:46.
2 timeouts still left for the Raiders.
3:37. They're going to run it down most likely all the way down to the 1. It's not like Ventura has played a clean game anyways this tonight. They definitely have given Moorpark their chances. But this is what happens when one team recruits entirely out of state and another team basically takes only home guys. That's going to be Luton running to the far sideline. He's knocked out of bounds, so the clock is going to stop. 3:05 on the clock now.
And a good point about recruiting out of state. While looking at the Ventura College roster, almost half of the Pirates are out-of-state players. Almost
And most
half.
of them are D1 bounce backs. So if you
Yes.
understand, if you're at home watching this going, what's going on here, it usually comes down to the class of players. You saw it against Fullerton. You know, these are not players who are junior college quality. These are Division I quality players that are being recruited and picked up to play in a junior college football game. And that's really what the game has kind of turned into here. It's a small selection. And Luton, he's not worrying about the pressure at all. There's a flag on the play. And he's going to fall down. He's going to fall over what looks like first down. But nonetheless, there's most likely a hold on the play. He's going to send the ball back 10 yards. 2:34 on the clock. Dives out of bounds, and that's going to be considered stopped clock anyways. But the Raiders have to get back time if they want to do anything.
Yes, they will have to get back time. And with 2 timeouts as well, it's going to be interesting to see how Coach Stewart is going to handle it.
And they're going to call holding against offensive line. So what I saw on the far sideline, the far hash, was a correct call. Sends it back 10 yards. Possibly giving the Raiders another chance. 3rd down and now 15. Ventura have been very good on 3rd down conversion, but 15 does put them in quite the hole. It looks like Ventura's going to burn a timeout, so we're going to step away for a moment, and we'll come back after the timeout.
TJ's 5'10". TJ's 5'10" and they throw a double. Yeah. And even is out. What's going on with even? Do you have concussion or something that's been rubbing his eyes? Yeah. Yeah. I don't want to bug him, but yeah, he rubs his eyes like Johnson's back. Yeah, Johnson's back, but he's not feeling great. Especially after that first series where he went in, he got lit up kind of on the side. He was feeling it on his shoulder, safe shoulder feeling right there. And Ventura knows. Exactly.
Okay, we're back here after the timeout. It's now 3rd and 15. 2:34 left on the clock here in the game. The Raiders have a little bit of a chance, but a lot of things have to fall the right way. Don't leave anything's possible here. And Luton's going to choose to run it. He has a lane. He has a 1st down. And he's just burning time off the clock now. He knows exactly what he's doing. He's down to the 40. It's a 1st down. This pretty much spells an end if the Raiders can't stop him. And essentially it's just been an outclass match. You have an out-of-state football team playing against an in-state football team. But nonetheless, it's a Division I football team playing against a junior college football team.
And Moorpark, they were able to stick through with them. 28 points put up on the scoreboard. That's a fairly good mark.
Yeah, bringing it within 1 score at one point.
And, of course, picking off this quarterback, Ludden, 2 times in one game.
Yeah, you know, the class is not necessarily there. They haven't played a good game of football. They've given up a lot of yards and penalties. Say all you want. If you're a Ventura fan out there, you can tell me that they are completely outclassed because it's just a better team, blah, 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 blah. But, my opinion, you cannot blame Moorpark for playing the way that they've played tonight. against a team that is essentially shouldn't even be in their league.
Seems like Moorpark is using their last timeout of the game with only 1 minute 44 seconds left. Almost all over for the Raiders in this 49th annual matchup of the Citrus Cup.
Nonetheless, I've seen crazier things happen.
True, there's never a ending of a game, really, until that bell rings, until the final
Whistle.
zeros on the clock, I guess you could say.
Luton out of the gun. Looks like he's going to be firing over the flat, but he's going to be running away. Ball thrown into the sideline, 1:39 left on the clock. It's now 3rd and 7.
Even though this game is all but over right now, Jordan Flack, number 43, he shows you why he is a Division I recruit, a great player. No matter what the score is, no matter how much time is left on the clock, he was continually running after that quarterback. He was continually scouting that quarterback out when he goes back in coverage. He is doing everything that he needs to do at that defensive end position to be able to limit that quarterback to yards.
1:39 left on the clock to play defense. Charged with another 3rd down situation. Luton in the pocket, fires over the center. They hit a tight end. It's another big man, number 88. Excuse me, number 85, Jonte Broski. He is the tight end. 6'3", looks a lot taller than that. They're going to choose to go for it on 4th down. Why not? Clock's still running, 1 minute and 18 seconds. They might even take the penalty here and just punt it. If you can run it down another 19 seconds on the play clock.
If they do run this play, of course, I've been mentioning their 4th down conversions on the season. Just even conference play is even a little bit better. They have a 4 and 6, so 6 attempts, 4 of them have been completed on 4th down conversions. That is actually 14th in all the 3C2A.
So Ventura is going to call their timeout. Time is running out, 52 seconds left on the clock. If you're still with us, please stick around for post-game coverage. You'll get to hear all the stats, why the result of tonight's game went down. We'll be here.
Yes, we will be here. And Nathan Espinoza, our field reporter, will be alongside us as well.
Give us more insight into the game tonight. Raiders have put on a show, but Pirates have gotten the best of them tonight. Pretty much every facet of the game. The Raiders did not take advantage of turnovers, and I think that is the ultimate storyline here, is they needed to take advantage of the fact that Ventura didn't play the ball too well in their hands, and they just essentially didn't take advantage of it.
They basically threw themselves out of the game.
Luton, single quarterback, all alone in the gun. 52 seconds left on the clock. They're going to change up personnel. We'll see where they go with this one. Hands it off. That's going to be to Isaiah Brown, and that's going to be a 1st down. And that should be pretty much the end of the game here. It's going to be, well, not completely over based on the way that the time works.
They'll just have to run one more play. Most likely, well, they're actually running actual play.
Trying to run the score up here, and they do have a receiver open, but it was incomplete.
This is one of the reasons why Moorpark and Ventura have such a big rivalry, how they have hatred towards each other, as you see Ventura winning by 14 points with only 30 seconds left, still trying to run up the score with that big pass play. It's definitely going to build to this rivalry that we see.
and they're going to be in victory V formation, and that's going to end it all. And there's a tussle there in the line of scrimmage, and that game, the game is going to be pretty much over here, folks. So again, I'm Emory Johnson alongside Ryan Ketchum. Stay with us for our post-game coverage. We'll be right back.
Oh, you got it. He got it. He got a catch. I mean, he got a picture of the catch. He got an action shot. Sell that. Sell that shit.
Well, there's that, and then
That was pretty good, actually.
Sell that shit. Just like make 5,000 copies and sell this one. And have
All over for our
oh
colors.
yeah, and have Ryan sign it. This is going to be brought to you by Latin Auto Groups. Latin Auto Group, #1 supporter. It's going to be presented by.
is this
Oh
post?
wait, we need to turn on our mics. We need to turn on our mics.
Is this post game?
Hello, everybody. Welcome to the post-game show. My name is Ryan Ketchum, color commentator alongside Nathan Espinoza, who is the field reporter for tonight's events. Of course, this did not go the way that Moorpark wanted it to go, 42-28. What did you see down on the field from that defense in the second half that kind of fell apart?
Yeah, a lot of it was them being really worn out. You could tell,
Yes.
later in this the game they were getting a little more worn out. The rotations were coming on a little bit more and a little more often. That being said, they still played a heck of a game.
They did.
There was a lot of, like we talked about the halftime. It was the big plays that really took away from tonight. Moorpark, was able to shut down this team who rang up 76 on Santa Monica last week. So the fact that they're able to hold this team to, essentially being in the game in the last 5 to 10 minutes is a big feat in itself. When it goes back to the game tactics and what it came down to, it was defensive lapses. The secondary had a couple lapses. We never really got the passing game going. It was mainly a run game, which we understood. That was going to be Moorpark's strong point coming into this, going up against Ventura. Unfortunately, the run game wasn't able to carry it long enough. Even though we brought Isaiah Johnson in the fourth quarter, they weren't ready for it. You could tell. They had never seen him all game. They also knew he was a little injured, so they were kind of going at the injured shoulder on Isaiah Johnson. Ultimately, though, it came down to a couple plays. There was a couple plays that could have gone both ways. Didn't happen to go for Moorpark. It really was, even though there's a two-score game, it was really a flip of the coin at some point. Moorpark was unable to match a couple of the touchdowns, 2 of them, which caused the game itself right there. Yeah.
At halftime, the score is 14-14. Moorpark was able to have 2 touchdowns in the second half. But each time they would score the touchdown, they had an opportunity to score another touchdown to be able to tie the game. They always had an opportunity in that second half after they scored to be able to actually tie the game on the next drive. What happened between those 2 drives from the actual scoring drive to when they needed to score as well?
Well, I think a lot of it, a lot of the game was deflated. A lot of the players, after a couple plays didn't go their way. I saw their heads hanging a little bit lower. They were just kind of deflated from the, a couple of bad calls, that they felt went against them, and then a couple of just lapses. I keep reiterating on that, on the lapses in coverage. It was the big plays that hurt this team tonight. They did a great job on every down most of the time, kept it competitive. It was the big plays that really took away from tonight. Ventura was able to capitalize on those big plays. And Moorpark had a couple chances. They had 2 interceptions on this quarterback.
Yes.
Both interceptions on those drives where they were unable to score. And that's two drives. They're down 2 scores. Essentially the difference in the game right there is not being able to capitalize on those turnovers. Turnovers are something you don't always get. And when you get them, you need to capitalize on them immediately.
Yes, you do need to. But we did see kind of a star out there, actually 2 stars, of course, both of our defensive ends, Jordan Flack and James Perryman. It almost seemed like, I mentioned in the broadcast as well, that towards the end of the game, even though it was the end of the game, even though we were losing by 2 scores, they still played as hard as possible.
Yeah.
What does that tell you about those types of players?
Well, first off, it tells me, they're 100% type of guys, 110% all the time. Flack, as you saw at the end of the game, was still going at it. There was no chance they were going to be able to score. They're on defense, down 2 scores with about a minute to go. And Flack is still playing like it's 100% right there. That's number 1. Number 2, with Perryman.
Yes.
Perryman was one of those contributors to the game where he didn't get a lot of highlights, but Flack got all the highlights because they were on Perryman so much. So Perryman provided his presence on his side of the field, helping Jordan Flack out. Again, it was secondary that was what really held us back tonight.
Hopefully we come back in the next game and increase our secondary defense, maybe make it a little bit better. Thank you very much, everybody, for tuning in to this post-game show. My name is Ryan Ketchum, color commentator, alongside Nathan Espinoza, the field reporter. Also, Emery Johnson was the play-by-play commentator in tonight's game. This was the 49th annual Citrus Cup at Ventura College. Thank you very much for tuning in, and we will see you next week.
Thank you.